Detroit still to come. The Pirates hosting the Cardinals. It'll be the Dodgers on the road to take on the Nationals. Red Sox play host to the Blue Jays. Mets play host to the Marlins. The Twins on the road in Kansas City facing the Royals. The Rangers in Chicago to take on the Cubs. And the Orioles on the road to take on the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Welcome, everybody. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com. Happy Monday to everybody. I hope everybody had a great weekend out there and got out in the sunshine on Saturday while it was here. And now we're back to rain and gray and Seattle.
Yeah, I had like a 10-hour window to do my yard before it turned into a sponge.
Yeah, which is what it's doing right now. The rain is coming down. So hopefully everybody had a chance to enjoy that. We've got a big show coming up. Rowland-Smith will join us at 3 p.m. as he does every Monday during the baseball season. John Jansen, who's the analyst on the Michigan Wolverines football broadcast on radio, will join us at 4 p.m. Preview a couple of the names that have been attached to the Seahawks in some mock drafts. So we'll catch up with him at 4. Adam Jude of the Seattle Times will be with us at 5 o'clock. Get an update on the Mariners, the trip over. Maybe, hopefully, we'll get some news on Victor Robles soon. And then what we learned coming up at 5:15. We'll turn you over to the Mariners pregame show at 5:30. So there you go. Got a packed show. The text line is there for you. 866-979-3776. Powered by Mac and Jack's Brewing Company. Where are we at, Mariner fans? Are you panicking? Is the sky falling? Is the season over? Is it early? Is it where are you at in that? Because what I've learned on social media, Dave, is no comment goes untouched. No matter what you say, somebody will find fault with it. If you're too positive, if you're too negative, there is no sweet spot, depending on which fan reads the comment. But 10 games, 3-7, they get swept in San Francisco. There's no way of polishing this up. It's not good. It is not good. I was looking at these numbers. I went through these numbers last night. In the 3 games combined, Mariners left 35 on base and went 5 for 32 with runners in scoring position. In case you were wondering.
Well, you know what? If you want to keep it positive, that's a lot of runners on the base paths.
A lot of traffic. A lot of traffic. You're right. You're right.
Well, it's funny. You know, we talked for 9 minutes on Friday about that extra innings game just because it went so long. And I don't know, just afterwards it was like, well, you know, I mean, they took this good team, extra innings, and, you know, and it just felt okay. It felt like, okay, that's not that bad. But
the offense came to life that day.
Yeah.
Especially guys we're counting on, and Julio and Cal and some of the other guys. Yeah, Victor Robles, and he had a hit. You came out of that one feeling like, okay, offensively we saw something. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a loss. That stinks, not trying to polish it. But at least you could pull something from it and go, hey, man, we saw something we were desperately wanting to see. Problem was, was a day where the pitching wasn't there for them, and they gave up a lot of runs. But then you move on, and you lose the next 2, and you lose Victor Robles, and we'll talk more about that. And you go, wow, you're 3-7 after 10 games. And I've seen every response. Like I said, season's over, they're terrible. And then others saying it's early. What are you talking about? Quit being negative. I'm like, well, it's a little hard when you're 3-7 and just got swept to be overly positive. That seems a little phony. But I was just looking back at previous seasons to see where they were after the 10-game mark. Our guy Luke Arkins did this, I think, after 6 games or 7 games, just to get a gauge. Last year, after 10, they were 4-6. And then I was looking at each season. When did they get above 500? That happened on the 23rd of April last year. They moved to 12-11. That's when they got to over 500. 2023, 4-6 after 10 games. They got to 500 May 13th at 20-19. 2022, the year they went to the playoffs, they were 5-5 after 10 games. And then they got back to 500 the very next game. For the April 19th, they went to 6-5. And then 2021, After 10 games, they were over 500. They were 6-4. So just looking at where they've been in previous seasons, how does it compare? This is worse. This is one game worse than the last 2 seasons. It's hard not to sit there and go, well, you got 152 games to go. Let's not get crazy, but I think it's fair to react to what you've seen so far. And what you've seen so far, by and large, has not been awesome. Has not been good. So I don't blame the fans that are negative, that are feeling like, here we go again, or whatever they're saying. I can't tell them not to feel that way. I feel that way. I'm watching this team. I'm watching these games in front of my TV, yelling and getting upset about what they're not doing. I get it. But you do have 152 games to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one thing that makes this feel just a little bit better, and the 3-7, again, 3-7.
Stinks.
It really does. But, we always talk about Julio and how, the way this offense goes is the way that he goes. And then same thing with Cal, and they both had pretty good series. I mean, especially Cal. And then the most disappointing thing, and I think this is the part that brings me down, the injuries. Because, you just can't afford to, especially one of your best producers on offense, Victor Robles. But, also with the pitching, you didn't expect to start the season without Kirby. And then there's been some less than impressive outings. And I think that, they have to be perfect, pretty much.
There's no slack.
There's no room for, as you have said, regression. So, and that's going to happen to every team. So they were just on that sort of brink where it's like, okay, there's just a couple of guys that need to, get better and just produce a little bit more. But in the meantime, you've got guys who you're used to producing that aren't.
Yeah. Well, just as far as the, how should you feel after 10 games? And again, you guys text in 866-979-3776, powered by Mac and Jack's Brewing Company. Are you panicking? Are you all good? You're feeling like, hey, we got 152 to go. It's going to be fine. It's not going to be fine. We didn't do enough. Wherever you're at, text that in. Dan Wilson, for his part, says, no panic yet. A lot of baseball left.
We're, only, 10 games into this thing. We got a long way to go, no doubt about it. And it's just time to regroup and get back home, a couple of division opponents, and take it from there.
So, as he should. You never, even if he is panicked, he's not going to say it, nor should he ever verbalize that as your manager, obviously. But, the challenge is there for him. You're missing one of your starters. You saw that it cost you when you went with the other Luis Castillo with the start. And so far, both guys that have taken the place of Kirby have not been awesome. I mean, at least you got 3 innings out of Castillo, but you weren't put in a position to win those games, and you burned your bullpen in that game. And then so you're out Kirby. And now Robles on this tremendous catch, tremendous effort on this play. Here's the Giants TV call of this.
High fly ball down the right field line into that corner, and oh my, did he catch it? He did. And on the move is Matos.
Wow, I did it. That was
man,
it must have been a field mic right there. You hear that big thud.
Yeah, that was like, it's kind of like when a football doinks off the upright. It was like, boom. Holy, can we hear that again?
Yeah.
High fly ball down the right field line into that corner, and oh my, did he catch it? He did. And on the move is Matos.
Yeah, it was, good on him. He caught the ball, made a tremendous catch, was in excruciating pain, as you could see, and everybody was trying to figure out what did he hurt? What did he hurt? And he was, initially he was on all fours, and then he looked like he was grabbing his wrist, and maybe it was his hand, and it was maybe his forearm or his elbow. I mean, you couldn't tell, and then you're watching the replay over and over and over, and you're going, well, maybe it's his shoulder. But what I noticed is the trainers were, when they were helping him up, were kind of pulling him up under his arm. Like, I'm thinking, well, if it's his shoulder, they wouldn't be grabbing him there. But then we come to learn his shoulder is hurt. We don't know to what extent yet. We haven't seen any details. But to see that he needed to be carted off, I was telling you guys before the show, I dislocated my shoulder playing basketball years and years and years ago, and I could hardly take a step. Like, every step was excruciating. And the car ride to the hospital was every bump, every time they hit the brakes. And then when I got
your arm's just hanging, right?
Well, yeah, I was out of socket the whole time. And when I got there, they put me under to put it back in. It was bad, but just the pain of it being out, and I don't know if his was out or not, but I can relate to that pain of every tiny movement, because I saw some people like, why does he need a cart for an arm injury? I'm like, if it's anything like what I went through, every step was excruciating. So I can relate to what that felt like, if that's what we're speculating. We don't know exactly what happened yet.
That was an unbelievable play by him, though. I mean, let's just go back. I mean, yeah, the pain. I mean, I think, it almost looked like his arm was just hanging there, and they were having to support him. So, but him going. That's kind of like a guy going and taking on the wedge back in the day when in the NFL, where you just run in there and you don't care about your body. Mm-hmm. You love guys like that. We call them wedge busters. That's exactly what he looked like, except this is something that doesn't move. Yeah. And he just, without hesitation, and that's what a shame. And he executes the catch. Mm-hmm. Who was the receiver for the Texans this year that he got his knee blown up, and he still made the catch? And you saw that he was. I'm trying to remember, because I remember C.J. Stroud was crying. And anyway,
was that this past season? Was it?
Yeah, it was this against Kansas City.
Tank Dell got.
Yeah, that's who it was. Tank Dell, and he still somehow makes the catch. And you could see the same thing with Robles. Like, it hadn't registered yet with him that, oh man, I just hurt myself. And so just incredibly brave. And that's just the kind of player he is. But what a shame, man. I mean, you look at, first of all, I thought this was interesting. 44 at-bats. He has not walked. He has not had a walk.
He's aggressive, man. He's up there hacking.
Yeah. I mean, there was a couple of times, I think he had 3 at-bats where the total of number of pitches was 6 or 7. But, yeah, he's just incredibly aggressive. But he was also having, a really good season that he's started to put together here. And he's got 3 stolen bases. He did strike out 7 times of 44 at-bats, but still, you look at his 273 average. He had 3 doubles. Has yet to hit a home run, but 3 RBIs. I mean, yeah, it's amazing what he's done, and he's just been very consistent and one of the shining stars on offense that you could look at. He had a 8-game hitting streak, and yeah, I don't see how that's not at least a 2 or 3 month injury. Just the way that.
The way you reacted.
Looking at it, yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not. Hopefully it's just it hurt really bad, but maybe the damage isn't as bad as fear. Who knows? I mean, we'll find out. But it didn't look good.
One thing to get it healed and back, together and everything, but then what you have to do, I mean, I think you'd probably make it back in football quicker than you with that injury than you would in baseball, just because of the swing.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Again, we'll wait and see when they get some. Maybe they've got some clarity on it, and they'll announce that later. We'll find out. But yeah, that was brutal to watch. Again, he, as you pointed out, one of your more productive guys in a lineup that is struggling, and you need him, to say the very least. This team, again, does not have any slack. They do not have depth. They do not, even with the starters, they don't have a lot of production. So when you remove one of the few that are producing, it's a big blow. It's a big blow. So you're down Kirby, and now you're down Robles. We'll see for how long with Robles. Hopefully Kirby will be back soon. But yeah, just a bummer, to say the very least. Now on the positive side of a sweep is we did see Julio start to come to life. We saw Julio Julio didn't hit his 3rd home run until May 25th last year. May 25th. But in this game, in this series, he had 2 home runs, including his 3rd one of the season.
First, here's the pitch, swung on, belted deep to left field. Matos going back to the warning track, looking up, and goodbye baseball into the bleachers and left. Julio Rodriguez with his 3rd home run of the season. I'm telling you, a lightning bolt out to straightaway left field, and the Mariners lead the Giants 1-0 here in the top of the 1st inning.
I think those 2 home runs were in the 1st inning, weren't they? Against both of them?
Was the opposite
With
field in the
the
first? Yeah,
San
it was the
Fran.
first pitch he saw from Verlander.
Yeah.
Hit it opposite field over that 24-foot wall.
Man,
So
that's hard to do there.
yeah, it's the ball does not. It's a lot like, and I think they talked about it on the broadcast. It's very similar to Seattle, the Marine Lair. The ball doesn't carry well early in the season. You got a 24-foot wall on the opposite when you're going opposite field the way he did. So you saw grades. He had 4 hits in 3 games. 2 were home runs. So maybe he's finding it earlier. Maybe he's going to be a more consistent version of himself. We'll see. I mean, it's certainly a good sign. And then after the game, he's not a guy who's hanging his head. Yeah, they got swept and all of that, but he's feeling fairly optimistic about where they are.
The way that I see it, they're a really good team, and we play a really good ball. Like they're one of the hottest teams in the MLB, and like we were neck to neck, and they have field advantage. That's one. I think it would have been a different story if we were playing at home, but that's just it. Ain't nothing to regroup about. Ain't nothing to say, like, do this better or do this, that. We're playing a really good ball game, and, like, if you ask me, I think we're in a really good spot 10 games in.
So I read those, and now that's the first time I've heard it. I read his comments. Is that being a leader? Like, hey, man, we're not hanging our head. I like we're going to be fine. We're doing things well. We went up against the hot team. Everything he said there. Or so is that him being a good leader, or is he in denial?
Well, can it be a little bit of both? I mean, because I think players are always optimistic. You're always like, yeah, we've worked really hard and we deserve this, and we're gonna get it. But I don't know. I mean, I think for most baseball players, it has to be like, look, this is just the reality. Come on, we're 10 games in. Mm-hmm. We can, a couple of these games that we're losing are going to turn around for us. So, yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. But yeah, maybe he's, becoming, the veteran, and the veteran in him is saying what he should say.
Yeah, because as I read him, I'm like, well, hang on. I like that he's going positive. Like, hey, man, they did go up against a hot team. The Giants are a very good team, at least to this point of the season. So it's not like you got, beat around by a bunch of slappies out there. They're playing well. In that division, by the way, in the National League, you got the Giants at 8-1, Dodgers are 9-2, Padres are 8-2. They're all 3 teams off to a very good start. So, they're a good team. He's right. Is it different if they're playing at T-Mobile as opposed to out there in San Francisco? I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. But it was the last line that caught me when he said, "I think we're in a good spot after 10 games." That's where I went, "Yeah, I'm going to have to disagree." 3-7 after 10 games is not a good spot.
Well, when did you say he hit his first home run last year? Was it
his third? Third home run. He hit his third in this series.
Right.
His third last year was May 25th.
May 25th.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think he's probably thinking a little bit about his own game as well. So, but, everything to me, I would be fine with. I mean, obviously, I think San Francisco's a good team, and I keep saying that. Well, maybe Detroit's a good team. Maybe the A's are a good team. But, I think without the Robles injury, I'd feel so much more optimistic. And somebody said, one of the texters here said, he does, Victor Robles tends to sort of exaggerate.
They're saying he's dramatic.
Overreact or whatever. And so, I would say this with all due respect, I hope that's the case.
Yeah.
And I really do. I really hope that it's because he's kind of overreacts. Everybody handles injuries differently, So, I mean, that's... I remember after Richard Sherman, he tore his Achilles and he was walking around on the sidelines or limping going, yeah, I tore my Achilles. It's gone. And he was perfectly, quiet about it. And
I tend to get angry and curse.
Yeah, that's what I do too. Like, I remember my kids when they were growing up when they got hurt, they would cry. And I'm like, why are you crying? Aren't you mad?
Say curse words. It's better. Curse. You'll feel much better.
And now they do it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, hopefully that is the case.
I hope that's all true. I hope he overreacted. I hope he was being dramatic, and they're going to go, yeah, he'll be back in a week. But we'll find out. All right, let's take 2.
Well, according to some evidence on Facebook, I think Ryan Divish subscribes to the cursing mentality when hurt. So even though he's off the beat for the time, he might have had a broken hand. Sounds like he didn't, but yeah, he used that.
Did he post that video somewhere?
He posted it on
Twitter.
Yeah.
He did. That was exactly what I expected out of Divish.
Yeah.
So we do have some Mariners updates. GM Justin Hollander is scheduled to speak at 2:30. Now, he periodically does this before the start of a homestand. This was already scheduled. I'd imagine we get a Victor Robles update, though. And our Mariners insider, Shannon Jarrett, reports that Dom Canzone is in the Mariners clubhouse.
Yeah.
He's a guy with some experience, a little bit.
Yeah. Hopefully he can get that back going. And he's a guy who's showed flashes, but ultimately he wasn't good enough to make the big club coming out of spring training this year. So, I mean, yeah, nice depth piece to have, somebody who you know what he does and doesn't do well. So we'll see if he can, I don't know, maybe be a spark.
National title game tonight in college basketball. Florida and Houston facing off. The Cougars can win their first ever title, while the Gators can claim their third. It'll be their first, though, since they won those back-to-back titles in the 2007 and 2008 NCAA tournaments.
Have you been watching this, or did you just bail on the tournament after
I watched the Final Four games. Watched Duke just choke at the end of that game. Unbelievable. 11-1 run. Incredible. The guy that I love watching is Cryer, the guard for Houston.
Yeah.
That dude is a 90% free throw shooter. You see that he's not out there trying to look, fancy, and his hair is just going every which way. It looks like he just got out of bed.
He put no effort in.
Never shows any emotion. And I love Kelvin Sampson too. So why didn't I pick Houston? I picked St. John's. They're long gone. Long gone.
Who was in your Final Four?
Bob, I don't know. I had a 3 seed, a 5 seed, a 2 seed, and a 1 seed or something like that. So
I picked Houston.
Did you have Houston?
Yeah.
So
I picked them to win.
What about here in the building?
It's me versus C-Raj.
You and C-Raj.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. And not Matt.
Bob, who are you rooting for?
Matt.
That felt unnecessary.
Wow.
To be honest.
Just unsolicited.
He's right,
Just
but still
unprovoked.
hurts.
I'm not sure if I'm rooting for Lefko.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I know I'm not.
You're saying go
We're
Florida.
going to get cocky.
Or no, go
Lefko.
Houston.
No surprise there.
Go
You
Curtis.
took Florida, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who would you rather? Yeah,
I took
like
Houston, so there's part of me leaning that. Not that I can win, but yeah, that's who I picked.
Hey, how's your bracket looking?
Love it. Take Two is brought to you by Swedish Cyberknife. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/Cyberknife Prostate. Coming up, we gain more insight about Geno Smith's departure from the Seahawks. That's coming your way next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Blue 88 on Brock and Salk.
The idea that there is no middle class of quarterbacks anymore. Is there one this year?
Every day at 7:45.
No second rounders. It's not a thing anymore because of the advantage of that rookie contract and having him for 5 years. Many have reached into that first round and take those guys. I do think it's going to be a little different this year. I would not mind seeing them take a middle round quarterback to push Sam Howell.
Blue 88, answering 3 football questions as only Brock Heward can.
Swedish Cyberknife is expanding. Dave Wyman here with some exciting news from our friends at Swedish. They're adding a second Cyberknife, so patients can now receive Cyberknife treatment at Swedish Cherry Hill and the First Hill campuses. As many 710 listeners already know, Cyberknife is a non-invasive, non-surgical treatment for prostate cancer with proven results. Cyberknife uses advanced technology to track your slightest body movements while adjusting in real time to deliver radiation with extreme precision. And the result, healthy surrounding tissue and organs are spared from radiation. And the end result, excellent long-term cancer control and significantly reduced side effects. Compared with other radiation therapies, which last 6 to 9 weeks, the Cyberknife treatment period is typically only 5 days, with each session lasting less than an hour. So if diagnosed with prostate cancer, consider treatment with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/Cyberknife Prostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife.
Goodbye, winter mud. Hello, dream yard. Spring is here. Synthetic Turf Northwest has you covered. No more soggy lawns or weekend yard work. Just green, clean, and ready for backyard barbecues, wiffle ball, or kicking back. Synthetic Turf Northwest, the area leader in synthetic grass, residential and commercial installs, plus turf supplies out of our Woodinville warehouse, and soon in Fife, right off I-5. Mention Seattle Sports and save up to $1,000 off your project. Visit syntheticturfnorthwest.com today.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business, powering possibilities.
Now through April 21st, new customers can get started with 150 megabit internet and Security Edge for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying internet package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires enrollment and paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra and subject to change. Early termination fee applies.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Our friends at Mazda of Everett always offer you their lowest price. Shop over 800 new Mazdas online at mazdaofeverett.com. Click on Get the Mazda of Everett price for their best deal. Shop mazdaofeverett.com or stop in and meet our friends at Mazda of Everett located in Everett at 11409 Highway 99. If you're shopping for a new car, make sure our friends at Mazda of Everett are on your list.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Robert. Robert, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
I heard an ad, and my wife and I had just got our policy renewals from our previous provider, and everything had gone up quite a bit, 30-40%, so I thought I'd give it a try. It was a pleasant experience, very easy. It only took a couple of days to get the good news back.
And were they able to save you money?
Yeah, we were able to save well over $1,000. Not only did we save money, our agent found that we had some gaps in coverage, and they were able to not only save money, but improve our coverage.
Well, now you can be a good friend, and you can tell everybody about it.
Oh, I have. I've, in fact, passed it on to a couple of my good friends, and they're taking the challenge as well. So it's been great.
Robert did it. My family did it. Now you got to do it, and it's totally free. Go take the First Mark Challenge today. See how much they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you could be our next First Mark Challenge victory. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. Firstmarkinsurance.com.
The azaleas are blooming, and I can hear the theme song in my head right now. It's the Graz here, telling you the Masters is the start of the golf season. And why don't you indulge by booking a tee time at any of the 11 fantastic premier courses? That's Inner Bay, Jackson, Bill Wright, West Seattle, Cedar Crest, Bellevue, Linwood, Walter Hall, Legion Memorial, Lake Padden, and their newest course, the Ocean Shores Golf Course. Practice on the range with Top Tracer at Jackson, Inner Bay, and Bill Wright Golf Complex. Play the courses, play virtual, play premier.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund.
Wyman Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Text line is there for you, 866-979-3776, powered by Mac and Jack's Brewing Company. Geno Smith speaking for the first time since he signed his new deal, did an interview with Albert Breer, also had a little press conference there and had a few thoughts. He was asked how he feels about the Seahawks organization. Here's what he said.
Yeah, it's just business, and that's the way things work in the NFL. There's no hard feelings for anyone there. I have a lot of love for everybody there, really, and I think it's just business. And, there's new opportunity for everyone, and I'm so happy to be a part of this thing. I'm so happy to be here and where I am right now. Looking forward to just creating so many new memories, and it's going to be exciting. It's going to be real fun.
Now, in that article, talking about the interaction with him and Albert Breer in that article, he was talking about Pete Carroll and obviously in glowing terms. In fact, he was in touch with Pete Carroll throughout the entire season, and according to the story, there were points where they talked daily, every day.
Yeah.
Geno would have frustration, so he'd call Pete Carroll, and this is before Pete got the job and all of that. So it said there were points when Smith and Carroll talked daily. There were points where they didn't talk for a few weeks. Neither knew whether Carroll would ever get back into the NFL again. So they've had an ongoing relationship, or at least communication, since Pete left, which was interesting to hear, and it makes sense that was a landing spot. Obviously, Pete very fond of him and showed a lot of belief and was sort of his therapist, I guess, if you will.
Yeah. Well, and, for a guy like that, it's interesting to me how the relationships build. And same thing with Chip Kelly, maximum leader, as our boy Alombre likes to call him. But how, that's really important for a quarterback. Remember, when I went to Denver, Dan Reeves was the coach, and he I guess John Elway hated him. And, it was all about he wanted to run a more conservative offense and things like that. So when I went there, they got Wade Phillips was the head coach, and they hired Jim Fossil. And Jim Fossil was an offensive coordinator at Stanford, and he just, let John just go out and let it rip. And so that's the only time I ever remember like a relationship with a player and a coach really having impact. But now it's, and that's the way Pete is. Pete is very much a relationship guy. He invests in everybody that he talks to and touches. So, yeah, I think it's a great. I felt a lot better after reading this about Geno and his situation. Like I was happy for him. It was in the beginning. It was like, well, why didn't he even counter? Why wouldn't you counter offer? And I don't know. I think he is very competitive, and I think he would much rather be there. But it became clear to me, anyway, that it was more about the relationship with Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly.
Yeah, the one thing he said in the article that I didn't quite understand is he was talking about his quote is, obviously they have young guys in the building that they want to step up and be leaders, and they got a new head coach last year, and Mike was good for us, and I really enjoyed being with him for that season. But again, when you're talking about business, you're talking about a quarterback who wants not only to get paid, every player wants to get paid, but to be respected. That's the most important thing, is the respect factor, and I just felt like there was a disconnect there.
Yeah.
I'm curious how he feels he was disrespected by the Seahawks. Like, what is he referring to specifically? What Brady told us that the previous season he wanted an extension and they didn't give it to him, so he felt like that was disrespectful, or was it the offer, which by all accounts may have been more than what he ultimately signed for? They're not specific in the article as to what he felt was disrespectful.
Yeah, well, players have their own definition of that. We hear that all the time, and it's just that part of it does it that kind of wears on you after a while when you're looking at, okay, he disrespected you by offering you $35 million. Really? I mean, that's not really a disrespectful thing to do. But, I think that's more and more, again, the relationships. And, I think that he's probably right. They're going a different way. And so, I understood that part of it, but it's just kind of what they say. That's what players say these days, is that, oh, it was disrespectful. But I don't see where, I don't know if it means any ill will towards Schneider or whatever. They seem to have gotten past it. They don't want to talk about it. And it was just Nothing really surprised me. It kind of all came together, and that's just kind of the new way of how, players and coaches and some of the connections that they make. That's kind of how it works out.
He was asked what he wants to accomplish playing for Pete Carroll. Here's what Geno had to say.
I think there is unfinished business, and I think, when people think about my story, Coach Carroll is a big part of that. He gave me an opportunity when not many people would have, and he saw, the hard work that I was putting in. He saw the things behind the scenes that I do that allowed me to get this opportunity. But to be able to play for him, and again, to be a part of this organization, it means everything to myself and my family. I was just telling him, man, I'll run through a wall for him, and he knows that. And I'll do the same for my teammates and for this organization. And so I just want that to be, kind of who I am, and I want that to be the statement of who I am as the quarterback of this team.
Some text coming in. You guys, again, can weigh in on this. 866-979-3776. Joe in Bellevue says, when Pete left, Geno no longer understood that throwing red zone interceptions was a bad thing. All right. Mo in Puyallup said, drawing out his contract until the end, yes, is disrespectful. Till the end? What do you mean? I don't.
I'm not sure what he means by that.
That's their thing. They don't do deals early. They do it when there's 1 year left on the deal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what Mo's talking about. They followed what they've done with every other player. When there's 1 year left and they want to sign him to an extension with that 1 year hanging in the balance, they offer an extension, which is what they did with Geno, which is what they've done with the DK the first time, what they've done with everybody else they've re-signed. So I'm not sure what you mean by drawing out his contract.
Yeah, that is the formula, right? So 425 says, I need more disrespect in my life.
Yeah, if that's disrespect, I'll take that kind of disrespect.
Yeah, but I mean, I think more than anything, and I'll be rooting for the Raiders because, Pete is just, he's amazing that way. And I'm glad that he's not done. And yeah, I mean, I think he knows exactly what buttons to push with Geno. I remember he used to be, Pete even said it, that he was a hothead. And I remember that, I can't remember if they were playing the Rams or the Chargers, but they were down in L.A. playing at SoFi, and I just remember Pete looking out on the field and telling Geno to, like, kind of pantomiming, like, cool down, take it easy, because he was starting to get pissed off about something. And so, yeah, he just knows, again, how to push all the right buttons with Geno. So, yeah, I'll root for him. I think it's a great direction, really, for both. I mean, I think that's going to be a good opportunity for Geno to go down there and play for his old coach, and especially the connection with Chip Kelly. But then, the Seahawks did a really good job getting Darnold at a pretty cheap price. Now, is he going to be the Sam Darnold? We don't really know. And well, is the Sam Darnold the guy who had the 2 at the end, or had the previous 16 games? So, and you really could look at his entire career as well. But yeah, I mean, I think it worked out fine for everyone, and I can kind of understand, I guess, why the Seahawks are like, we're done with this.
Yeah. Are fans rooting for Geno, do you think?
No, I don't. Is there that much of a reason to dislike him?
I don't know.
Maybe it's just the not countering at all that piss everybody off.
And they even acknowledge that in the article, that they didn't even bother with the counter, which you could look at that and say, well, that's a little disrespectful. Did you just not want to be here? That's what that says.
Yeah.
You know what? Your offer is fine, but I don't want to be here anymore. I want to be with Pete.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just that simple. I don't know. You feel like they're at least do the courtesy of a counter, or at minimum, hey, John, appreciate the offer. I think it's time that we part ways.
Yeah.
It's just, I think that's where we're at now. But it was radio silence. So it was just a strange way to handle it. But there you go. He's in Las Vegas, and Sam Darnold's here. So are you rooting for Geno? I'm just curious individually. Yeah, I think everybody is rooting for Pete. I think everybody loves Pete for the most part. Maybe there's a few out there that don't. But are you rooting for Geno? Because we've talked about, like, wherever Tyler Lockett lands, I'm going to root for Tyler. I don't care where he goes. Sure. I'm going to root for him individually. I'm rooting for Pete. I'm not as attached to Geno as I am to Pete, but I'll root for Geno to do well. I don't want him to do poorly out there, but I'm curious how fans feel about him. 866-979-3776, powered by Mac and Jack's Brewing Company. Meanwhile, one of the most important drafts in John Schneider's tenure is rapidly approaching. We'll dig into some of the questions facing the Seahawks coming up next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk. Weekdays 6 to 10.
There is no offensive problem in Seattle when Julio is hot. None. All of the offensive problems that the Mariners have had in the last couple of years disappear when Julio's hot.
Yeah, you can put all that pressure on Julio, and it's all about Julio. And if Julio goes, everybody else goes. But we also know every rotation that comes in says, don't let that guy get going. So we will not give him much to hit.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Hey, Mike Salk here with special guest Ryan Rowland-Smith. And we love having Hyphen on the show to talk a little baseball. But today, talking about something a bit more personal, yet really exciting. Hyphen, share all the good news.
Thanks, Mike. Look, I've been hearing for about 2 years now how you did the Eastside Weight Loss Clinic plan and how you lost a ton of weight. I decided to see what the program was all about, and I'm so glad I did. So far, I've lost 30 pounds in just 60 days, and my only regret is not starting sooner.
Well, I'm happy for you. What's been the best part of the program so far?
Honestly, how simple it's been. There's no crazy exercises, no counting calories or scary shots or injections, no side effects or any of that stuff. I feel healthier, I'm sleeping better, I'm eating delicious meals, and the accountability plus communication from the Eastside Weight Loss Clinic team has made it fun.
Man, that is awesome, buddy. Would you recommend it?
Yes. To anyone listening, I was in your shoes. Just schedule a 15-minute consult at Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. It's all you have to do to start.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, DC. Results may vary.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey friends, Stacey Rost here. Who has some of the best deals on new Fords and Isuzus in the Pacific Northwest? Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Who has a large selection of the highest quality used vehicles in the Pacific Northwest? That would also be Wayscar Ford in Auburn. And what dealership promises no games, no gimmicks, and never any pressure to purchase? Yes, that is correct. It's Wayscar Ford in Auburn still. Who's the only Ford dealer in all of Washington to offer a 5-day or 500-mile, no questions asked, 100% money-back return policy? Wayscar Ford in Auburn. They offer free lifetime powertrain warranty on virtually all of their new Fords. Who's the only dealer that will purchase your used car, pay you right up front, and then once they resell your old car, return 50% of the profit to you? Only Wayscar Ford in Auburn. They've given over $750,000 back to customers who have sold them their cars. And finally, what dealership has been family-owned and operated in Auburn for over 103 years? You guessed it. Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Visit them at wayscarford.com.
At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, we provide top-quality windows that are 25% more energy efficient, reduce noise by 50%, and stay clear with low-maintenance glass. With leak armor installation and lifetime warranties, you're protected for life. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Right now, have ultra-efficient, clean technology windows installed and pay zero down with zero interest and zero payments for 18 months. Only from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. And they'll even pay your sales tax. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman Bob.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm, I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business calm at ooma.com/radio.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my superhydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Coming up at 3 o'clock, Rowland-Smith will join us on the program as he does each and every week during the Mariners season, so stay tuned for that conversation. Again, the text line is there for you at 866-979-3776, powered by Mac and Jack's Brewing Company. 17 days, Dave, 17 days until the draft opens, and we will talk to John Schneider on that day. And this is for the listeners. Just a little heat check. What's your level of confidence that the Hawks will make the moves that they need to make? Now everybody's got a different idea of what they should do, right? There's so many things. Sure. So you have to go O-lineman no matter what. Others are going to say go for the best player. Others may feel like a different position is a priority. So just overall, in general, not specific to your individual things, but overall, what's your level of confidence that they get it right, that they fill the holes that we all perceive them to have, and that they're just gonna crush this draft? Where are you at with that?
Well, I mean, I think everybody's thinking offensive line, first of all. So, and not so much offensive tackle. I think people are thinking center or guard, and I don't think that they're buying the whole. We have the guys here.
Well, that was my next question: is do you share John and Mike's faith that they have the majority of the guys they need in the building with the new scheme, with the new coaches, to put out a average O-line, average to good?
Well, I mean,
do they think
the one thing that's missing from that is that you want it to be, and Pete used to always say this, you want it to be a competition. You want to have them battling it out. And I don't know, it sounds like, okay, we have the guys here. How many guys are really battling it out for a spot there? Or, I feel like there's not enough high-level competition. Yeah. And so if you draft a couple of guys and then, again, like Mike McDonald said, and I always count on the second-year players. We'll see what happens there. And Mike McDonald said they're allowed to get better. But, yeah, I would like to see a couple of young interior offensive linemen come in here and give these guys that supposedly are, according to the Seahawks, good enough. Because, you got 10 picks here. Yeah. So, yeah, and I was looking last year, it was 8, and then the year before that, the Witherspoon and JSN, that was 10. And the only guy that I can see on here from both of those drafts, which is 18 players that's not there anymore, is DJ James. Everybody else.
Yeah, he was the other Auburn cornerback with Nehemiah Pritchett.
Yeah, and he was the one that was drafted in the 6th round. So
I think they both were, weren't they?
Nehemiah Pritchett was 5th.
Was he? Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's just they've got some good. There's a lot of depth there for sure, but it's time for these guys to step up. They talk about the 2023 draft, and there's a couple of really, really good players there, but then there's a lot of potential there, which Chuck Knox used to say, that's a coach killer. Potential.
Yeah, if it's never realized, certainly.
So, yeah, I mean, it's time for that class in particular to step up, which includes, and Charbonnet had some flashes and everything, but I'd love to see him be a bigger part. And then, Derek Hall needs to be that guy. You've got Cam Young, who we haven't really seen. Mike Morris is another one that, another Michigan guy, kind of like Olu. And, Jarek Reed, Kenny McIntosh. Yeah, I think they need to have a really competitive draft that these young guys that they're going to bring in here are going to be competing now and try to sharpen these guys from the last two drafts.
Yeah, the other part of the question I left off there, saying, the question was, do you share John and Mike's faith? You, the listener, you guys can text that in. Do you believe in their faith in the guys they've got in the building when it comes to this O-line? Because they haven't made any moves. They've said repeatedly they think they've got the guys in the building. Now, that doesn't mean they're not drafting guys. They certainly will. But they tried with Fries, tried to bring him in. But outside of that, they've had veteran O-linemen come into the building, and they haven't felt like the match was there, and something didn't click with them. But they've got a certain belief in the guys that everybody else looked at and said they're not good enough. What they did was not good enough. Now, some of that is with a new scheme, new O-line coach. This is going to help them improve and again, hopefully become at least an average O-line. Do you guys share that faith, or do you feel that they don't know how to evaluate O-line talent and you know better than they do? That was the other part of the question I left out.
I like that. That's very specific to our guests, and I guarantee you there's a good majority of them that think that they know better.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no question. But, no, I get it. Look, it's one of those, said this before, when you look at an offensive line, I always look, can you move people off the ball? Can you pick up short yardage type of plays? But then the other thing to look at is the run game and how many times the quarterback's been sacked. And that's pretty much where it ends for most people as far as their evaluation for offensive line. So, yeah, it's really difficult, I think, to judge whether or not they have the talent or not. You have to go with Schneider, I think it was, or maybe it was Mike McDonald. They were both in there that one day, and, I think it was John that said, hey, we have a couple of experts. And he mentioned J.B. Benton, the offensive line coach, and then Rick Dennison. And he said, these guys are the run game experts, and they believe that we have. And, look, at least you're putting your stock, if you believe them, we haven't seen them yet. Mm-hmm. They have not been here. It didn't work last year for Grubb. So I think that's where a lot of people are like, I don't know that I have faith in the coaching.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and they've got two other sets of eyes on there as well. And Hall of Famer Steve Hutchinson is part of it. And Jason Peters is another guy who's there evaluating O-line, a guy who was a premier O-lineman for a lot of years in this league. So we all praise Big Ray Roberts because he knows what he's looking at. I'm going to guess those guys are on par with Ray. They know what they're looking at. They've played that spot at a very high level like Ray did. And so if you're somebody that listens to Ray and says, hey, that guy knows what he's talking about, I'm going to guess if we had those conversations with Peters and Hutchinson, you're going to have the same feeling.
Yeah. No question. Yeah, there's certain things that as a player and having played that position, and it gives me a lot of confidence. First of all, talking to Ray always, but then, a guy like Steve Hutchinson and Jason Peters, I mean, those guys, they've done it and they've seen it. They know what it looks like. So, yeah, I mean, that does help to know that they have the endorsement there, but you still got to go out there and put it together.
Yep.
Put it on the field. I wonder if if McDonald, he's kind of like Dan Campbell in the sense that he thinks you've got to get out there and hit. I wonder if we're going to see a little bit more contact.
I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't mind. All right, coming up, how do the Mariners bounce back after being swept over the weekend? We'll pose that question to our next guest. Rowland-Smith joins us for his weekly conversation. That's coming your way next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
We are now speaking with the architect of your Seattle Seahawks.
How we doing, football fans?
With Seahawks President of Football Operations and General Manager John Schneider.
My job is to do what's best for the Seattle Seahawks organization. I have to keep wrapping my mind around that and trying to communicate effectively.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
What's the standard the Seahawks defense needs to be held to under Mike McDonald?
The John Schneider Show.
Brought to you by Pizza Hut.
For many of us, it's happening. Your hair is thinning, your crown is disappearing. Hair loss had me feeling like I was losing my identity altogether. Well, I've got some good news. It's a simple one-day treatment that worked for me. The Advanced FUE from Advanced Hair. It starts growing new hair the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. We've all seen the pills and lotions that come with monthly memberships. Those can help retain what you have. But what if you want your own natural hair in specific areas like I did? You decide how much, how thick, and where. From Advanced Hair's state-of-the-art facilities to the world-class leading doctors like Dr. Polanco, it's not a maybe your hair will grow, it's guaranteed that your new hair will grow. For your free consultation, $250 off and 250 free hair grafts, call 425-449-8185. Advanced Hair is the winner of the 425 Business of the Year, and they are the team that I personally recommend. That's 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
From groceries to home prices, the cost of living in Washington state keeps going up. Now, Olympia politicians are proposing the largest tax increases in state history. Don't be fooled. If taxes go up, we'll all pay even more. Washington needs lower costs, not higher taxes. Tell the politicians no by visiting www.affordablewashington.org. Paid for by the people for an affordable Washington. Top 5 contributors are Washington Alliance for Competitive Economy, Microsoft, Madrona, T-Mobile, and Amazon.
Did you know that most people wait 6 or 7 years before they buy a new TV? That's a lot of time in front of one TV. So why not get one of the best sets for the next 7 years, like one of the top-rated Samsung, LG, or Sony models? Too expensive? What if you could get up to $1,000 trade-in for your old set? Who would do a stupid deal like this? Right now, at Video Only, you can get big bucks for your old set as a trade-in and a hot price on the new models. Don't be sorry. Check out Video Only.
Lee Johnson culture to me is empowering all of your employees to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. You know, there are certain things that it doesn't matter what level of employment you are in our organization. If it's not the right thing or it doesn't feel right, they have the ability to take care of the customer and make the decision without asking a manager, without asking an owner. The end result is they can speak to the customer with more confidence. They're definitely more confident in what they're trying to provide the customer, what the customer is trying to accomplish, and just giving them a better experience.
His name is Justin Meek. He's the leader and caretaker of more than 300 full-time employees for the Lee Johnson Auto family. It's the united understanding among Lee Johnson employees that customers are the purpose of our day. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto.
Meanwhile, at Xfinity.
So, influencer life going well?
Oh, yeah. I'm up to 32 followers.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah, posting my tap dancing videos is easier than ever because we engineered Xfinity Internet with 99.99% network reliability.
Plus, Xfinity Mobile with Wi-Fi Power Boost gives you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. But wait, tap dancing? You don't tap dance.
Hey, what I lack in skill, I make up with passion.
Do more of what you love and love how fast you do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for 1 year and save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet plus one unlimited welcome line and AT&T Internet 300 plus one unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Actual speeds vary. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it.
Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners getting back to business at T-Mobile Park tonight. Game 1 of their 3-game series with the hated Houston Astros, who are in town. They come in with a 4-5 record. Mariners are 3-7 after being swept by the Giants, but they send Logan Gilbert to the hill in Game 1 tonight. You can catch it all beginning at 5:30 right here with the pregame show. 6:40 first pitch. 1 game in the books today. The Tigers took out the Yankees 6-2. The final in that one. Other games scheduled. A's playing host to the Padres. Giants and Reds get together in San Francisco. It'll be the Orioles in Arizona to face the Diamondbacks. Rangers taking on the Cubs in Chicago. The Mets playing host to the Marlins. Royals welcome the Twins to town. It'll be the Red Sox and Blue Jays getting together in Boston. The Dodgers on the road to take on the Nationals, and the Cardinals in Pittsburgh to face the Pirates.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
I actually talked about it on You Betcha on the podcast.
He is an unrivaled source of baseball knowledge.
Anyway, what were we talking about?
A guy who always has your back.
Pants back on, try and make the uniform look sweet in a split second. Come out, and I'm trying to open the door. I'm like, what the? And I said, listen, buddy, put your babysitting shoes on because Dad's going out for Father's Day. You got to watch Top Gun.
Ryan Rowland-Smith, every week with Wyman and Bob.
That's the open right there.
He is here, everybody. Joins us every Monday during the season. You know him, you love him, you saw him on the broadcast doing a great job to start the season with the Seattle Mariners. And he's going to be on radio. I think his first radio game today is what I think is happening. Correct. With Ryan Rowland-Smith, who is with us. How are you, man?
I'm doing all right, fellas. How you doing?
Doing great. Are you nervous about your radio debut?
Of course. Always nervous. Every time I come here, I'm always there. I don't want to screw up. Sit next to the great Rick Riz. I got Gary Hill Jr. No, I'm looking forward to it. It's always, they make it very easy. So I'm looking forward to it. A lot of fun, and yeah.
Radio's where they put the ugly guys.
Correct.
Yeah. So.
And I've been told multiple times, listen, like, no one can see what you're saying. When I do the old, oh, you can see right here, boom, everyone's like, dude, I'm driving, listening. I got no idea what you're saying.
No, we can't see. We can't see.
That's right.
Yeah, you see right there.
Dave Wyman, give me some hints, man.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Don't say that because my producer, Brian O'Connell, would always be like, they can't see it. I'm like, okay.
Oh, so you cop it too. Okay, that makes me feel better.
Yeah,
okay.
It happens.
It shouldn't make you
Hey,
feel
by
better.
the way, guys, before we get started, last time I was on, it was last Monday. Emerson Hancock was taking the hill, and you asked me to give my prediction on Emerson Hancock.
We weren't going to bring that up, Ryan.
Well, I don't know who's doing the social media, but I might have to come looking for him because that crushed me. I'm second, third inning in. I'm like, oh man, I love Emerson Hancock. And by the way, I'm sticking to what I said. And if you missed it last week, if you're driving along listening, because I don't assume everyone listens to everything I say. I said Emerson Hancock was going to be the dude this year, and then he gives up a 6 spot out of there in the first inning. I still think he's going to be good. I just want to say that, and he's going to be all right. He just had a rough one, but I was copping him, man, on that broadcast. Let me tell you.
Yeah, you were catching catching some heat on social media there.
I was.
They were letting you hear about it. They were letting you hear about it. You should have just responded, just going,
hey, how's the bracket looking?
Yeah, exactly. I should have, just in quotations or quick little videos.
They played that for me, and I could not get it. Could not get it.
Yeah, I was asking. I played it for Dave. I said, guess who this is? Guess who this is? I played it like 3 times in a row, and he's just like, I don't know.
So you did a good imitation of
that. That's a pretty
America speak.
I don't know, Dave. You impressed me. That's a pretty dialed-in American accent right there.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Hey, how's the bracket looking?
I know we need to get to a lot here, but I was driving along thinking, okay, are they going to play that, or should I just drop that middle of the interview? Anyway.
Oh, yeah. Now, you sound like an American geek. It's still good.
Oh. Well, Ryan, let's get to it. It's how you feeling? They're 3-7. That's not good. They were 4-6 at this time last year. The year before they were 4-6. I was just looking at where they were in previous seasons. It's 10 games, and people at this point, as you probably know from social media, they don't want to hear it's early. They don't want to hear that. They're just looking at results. It's 3-7. I know Julio after the game was like, "Hey, there's nothing. I feel good about where we are and all of that." And it just you're down Kirby. And now you're down Robles. We'll see how long he's going to be out. They're going to do an MRI on him today. But where are your feelings with his team after 10 games?
You know what? Again, and I know no one wants to hear this, but you got a couple things you got to look at and talk about this being early. And I said this, I think, a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was even last week, talking to you guys. You put wins and losses aside. Once you get to the end of April, I just want to look for patterns, right? A couple guys who are coming back into the fold, who you really want to have bounce back offensively. Polanco looks amazing right now, and those numbers. There's no easy hits. There's no easy, flares in the. I mean, he's hitting the ball hard, which is really good to see. There's Julio Rodriguez. We talk about what the offense does with him. He looks night and day different. Remember, it took him 23 days to get that first home run, and I know that means a lot to him in regards to feeling good. Result, not saying he's result orientated, but you get some results to go along with the hard hit factor, and they're in good shape. So I love what I'm seeing from him, and just some of the support cast around him offensively. So some of the patterns are good. I'll say this too. The weekend we watched down in San Francisco, that was first of all some tough games, but number two, some of the bullpen usage now. And going back to Emerson Hancock, I mean, it's amazing what that can do to a bullpen. It can completely shuffle it. Now, some of the bullpen usage, as I was watching, I'm sort of, scratching my head questioning, okay, why are we using this guy in this situation? A couple times. Let's not forget, too, and you can say you get frustrated with the fact it's early. Dan Wilson is still, after the conversations he has with Pete Woodworth and the pitchers in the afternoon, spring training, he's still trying to get a feel for who can do what, not just stuff-wise. They can look at all the data and everything else, but how do guys bounce back? How do guys respond after they go, a lot of pitches? Do they need an extra day off, whatever it may be? Because they're not going to be honest with you. They're not going to come out and say, "Oh no, I need an extra day, Skip." Especially this far into the season. So there's a couple things on the weekend, and that was some really tough games, 2 walk-off wins for the Giants. That I'm looking at going, some of the bullpen usage I look at and think, okay, you're still trying to get a feel for who can do what. By the way, you're still also trying to figure out, in regards to shuffling that bullpen around, how you can use guys to forecast the next couple of days, because of the fact that you do have to make moves. You've got a couple of guys who are out options. And by the way, Vargas, he's looked really good. Basically just bought himself another couple innings of auditioning, and they had to make other moves. So there's a little bit of that going on, but from an offense, and that was the biggest question mark coming into this year, talking about that first, there's some really, really good patterns I'm seeing. The mid-range in strikeout percentage, walk percentage is top 5. So there's some good patterns there offensively.
Ryan, man, I wish we were talking about Victor Robles and, his 8-game hit streak. He's 4 of the 10 games. He's got multi-hits. He doesn't strike out a lot, and he hasn't walked, but he's just so aggressive. And the way he went into that corner, I mean, that was like somebody going down and busting up the wedge on a kickoff. I mean, it was crazy. But what a shame, man. I mean, we don't know exactly what's going on right now, but up to that point, I mean, he has just been everything that I feel like that we've expected.
Yeah, I think, and you know what? Sometimes he's not getting the results in regards to offensively. Like what I'm talking about with Polanco, especially, and with Julio. The fact he's playing hard, that speaks volumes. A couple things on that. I believe he's hit the IL, and I believe the X-rays are negative, so that's a good sign. It could just be a situation where they want to make sure that shoulder's all good. Yeah. But the question mark, again, with him, and I've talked to you guys about this before, is what version of Victor Robles are we going to get? Are we going to get the same guy who kind of has that chip on his shoulder in regards to coming in from the Nationals, what we saw on June 4th onwards with the Seattle Mariners and just crushed it? He's still playing as hard as that. He's still taking extra bases. He's still doing those little things, running into walls. Love it. I love it. I don't want to see him on the IL for sure because he's such a spark plug at the top of the lineup. But I absolutely love that. And I think, again, another guy who you're watching the at-bats, you're watching everything he's doing. Slowly but surely he'll get going. But that was tough to watch. It really was, especially with the way you could just feel like the energy down in San Fran with how good by the way, they ran into a really, really good team in San Francisco. I mean, playing really well. There's a different energy with that team. And you're watching that sort of unfold. Then you see him run into the wall on a Sunday on a getaway day. He's got to get on a plane after that. And you see them go, oh, man, this is just brutal. And then the deflation, the energy goes right back to the other dugout. But I think he's going to be okay. I think it's going to be short-term on the IL, and he'll be right back out there.
Yeah, I'm looking at the release the Mariners just sent out. It says, placed on the 10-day IL, left shoulder dislocation. And,
what, you didn't believe me or what?
Well, no, I'm just, but my point is I've had that. We were talking about it before the show, and that I don't know if it popped out and popped right back in or if it was out the whole time, which is the reason for the cart, because I was telling Dave when I dislocated mine, it was out. I couldn't even, taking a step was excruciating, walking. I understood the cart. So if it was out for any length of time, he could be out for much longer than 10 days, I guess is my long-winded point on that. So I'm hoping it popped out and popped back in is my hope. But we'll find out. But, yeah, that's the official.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I think the X-rays are negative. I think he's going to get an MRI today. We'll find out more. MRIs will tell you more for his shoulders, Bob, as you know, as you were just talking about. You've experienced it. So that'll tell you way more if it's long-term. But, yeah, so it was just not good watching that. That's for sure.
How have you felt about the pitching to this point? I mean, we know the 2 starts in place of Kirby have not gone great, but just what you've seen from the other 4.
Yeah, I think it's a situation where, watching, a couple things that come to mind. Watching Bryce Miller, I think he is just a step or a pitch decision away from feeling really good in those leverage counts. In other words, watching him with 2 strikes the last couple times out. I watched him in person. Obviously, I watched him on TV. I wasn't in San Francisco. Watch him in person. You could kind of see, I like to watch after the pitch is thrown. The camera doesn't cut away and kind of see the reaction. And you get that feeling, like with him, that yes, he throws multiple pitches, everything else. He's just like a step away from feeling that good. Extension through the pitch and feeling really good about what option and what pitch to throw in those big counts. And then, the guy who's pitching out, Logan Gilbert, last time out, he kind of put the slider in his back pocket through a ton of pitches because Detroit kind of wore him out early in that game. His slider wasn't quite there. So you'll know early on, I don't want to get blown up on social again here if you guys clip this, but you'll know early on with Logan, if he's got that good depth on that slider where it's inside the zone, outside the zone, but he's getting that bad swing on that pitch and he's getting some more downward on that slider, I think that's a pitch he throws 50% of the time. It's crazy how much he throws that, especially in the strike zone. He didn't have that against the Detroit Tigers. And then, obviously, when you're talking about some of the other starters, I think Brian Wu, teams are going to be a little bit more aggressive with him. Just has to get out of the middle of the plate. Because, the word's out like it was last year. Guys are kind of adjusting and getting on time a little bit better on that fastball middle of the plate. So I think that if he can get out of the middle of the plate just a little bit more, he's going to be fine too.
Yeah, you brought up the bullpen, and I saw the other day on Top Step. That's? Do you think my Australian accent is better than his American?
It's good.
You
can get away with it.
I don't know.
Hey, how's the bracket looking?
I think his American accent is better.
That is better. Hey,
I nailed that, by the way, real quick. I don't want to keep harping on that, but I feel like that HR dude who walks out of the office, no one wants to see, and he's like all about the brackets, and he's like killing it, and Anyway, sorry, continue.
How's the bracket looking?
No, you had on the show, you had Saucedo, Trent Thornton, and Gabe Spire, and I thought Thornton, some of the things that he said about the bullpen and how the coaches invest in them, and it was just very well thought out. And I know it doesn't have a whole lot to do with pitching and everything, but just the way that they've done a really good job just taking guys in and giving them confidence and telling them to, throw the best pitch that they have. And it sounds like, I don't know, did you ever come any close to anything like that as far as coaching goes?
No, I mean, and by the way, I talk about, back in my day, back when I was pitching, here's a plug for the show, but there's the full-length interview. We dive way deeper into that discussion. It's about 40 minutes long. We just didn't have that. And that's why I love Pete Woodworth is just an open book. You go in that dugout and you can talk to him and he will just, tell you everything. And that's more, I ask him multiple times, hey, with this guy, that guy. It's like, no. We show him and present what they're really good at. And the number one priority there is confidence in those pitches. Trent Thornton's a classic example. You can look at it, if you've never played this game and you look at him and say, why is he pitching in the 8th inning or why is he, you know why? Because the execution, when he is right, the execution is nails because of the confidence and because of the conviction. That slider of his, he never threw that pitch. And again, we dive more into this. He throws that pitch like 60, 70% of the time. The reason why is because you can't do that unless you are just absolutely convicted in that pitch. And so, with all that being said, with how lucky these guys are to come in this organization, and I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, look at Vargas. He's another example of this. He's pitching really well. He's been given an opportunity. I guarantee it's not, oh, hey, just fill a spot for us. No. They spend the time to say, hey, to identify exactly what he does well, and then he can go out and feel really good about it and go, you know what, man, if I do these things, and this is apparently pretty good compared to what these other organizations have told me or whatever it may be, I'm going to be in a good spot. So it's nice to have that. Again, on the flip side, on the dark side of that too, you've seen Saucedo get sent down. Again, that was to figure out this bullpen. But even when you have those conversations from the onset, when you get sent down, it's not a situation, Dave, you asked me if I ever had this. You get sent down like, hey, just go work on something, peace. And you're like, oh, man, I may never get back to the big leagues. I guarantee you when Saucedo went down, there's a plan. There is a plan for him to say, hey, listen, we need you to work on this. This is what we're looking at. And again, I don't want to get in a rabbit hole here. But he goes down to AAA and he has some structure and some directive as to how he's going to get back to the big leagues, as opposed to, hey, just go get out, so we'll see what happens. That's the difference, I think. And these guys they're lucky to have it. But as we all know, man, and Dave, you can say this better than anyone. You can get all that info. If you're not confident when you got a hitter 60 feet away from you, when the decibel levels start getting noisy, it doesn't even matter anyway.
Yep. Brian, as always, great stuff. We look forward to these conversations each and every Monday. Have a great time on the radio. Your first trip on the radio tonight. Ooh.
I appreciate it. Hey, left guy. How's your bracket looking now? All right, see you guys.
There you go, everybody. Ryan Rowland-Smith. Oh, so funny. So funny. Yeah, his American accent's better than your Australian.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
How's your bracket looking now? Boy, a little extra emphasis on that one. So he'll be on the radio side of things tonight with Rick Riz and Gary Hill there, and a huge homestand with the Houston Astros. Houston Astros are in town for the first time this season.
I like that Lefko writes this. Do you still hate the Astros as much as you did, or is it just Bob?
No, that was my question.
Oh, you're referring to yourself in the third person now.
Yeah, well, I
changed it because I didn't want to put you in the U. So it's
Is it just me, or do people still hate him? Because my hate is alive and well for the Astros. I detest that organization and their broadcasters and their fans, and that hasn't really changed. And I don't know if it really will. Part of me doesn't want to let that go, because we've talked about, in all honesty, the fun side of just having the rival, just having that team for the Mariners that I just can't stand them. And we always refer to the 49ers and Seahawks and how much fun that was back in the day. And the Mariners have just never had it. Certainly there'd be teams that individual fans don't like or players that they don't like. But as a collective, where the city of Seattle, the Mariner fan base, does not like this team, that hasn't existed.
Keep hate alive.
Yes, hate is good in this situation. Yeah. It's fun to have a rival. It's fun to have a team that you anticipate their arrival, or you anticipate those matchups, because there's an extra something to beating that team, and there's an extra something to losing to a team like that. There's more investment for me. I love hating the Astros, and I don't want that to go away.
Yeah, and it's so fun because I do think that you fuel a lot of our fans, and you hear them booing on the television broadcast, which I think is hilarious because every time I hear it, I'm like, that's Bob. That's the effect that Bob had.
That's my influence. So rippling through the crowd. Boo! Yeah. But answer that. I'm curious if you guys still hate them as much as you did a couple of years ago. Has it softened? Are you like, all right, let's get beyond it? Or are you like me where you're just clinging to it like grim death? 866-979-3776, powered by Mac and Jack's Brewing Company. The other part of it is it's just a huge series. It's a huge homestand. You've got the Astros and then the Rangers, two teams that are in front of you. And by the way, right now, Greg Amsinger's right. Mariners are in last place.
Isn't that terrible?
It's just terrible. It's awful, but that could change dramatically depending on how things go this week. But yeah, you've got 3 with the Astros, day off, and then the Rangers come to town for 3. So this is a crucial step forward for this team potentially in getting this fan base back on board. I'm getting the sense there's a little indifference, there's a little resignation in the fan base where they're just like, same old. Why bother? We knew this was going to happen. Told you. There's a lot of that, and I think if they were to go through and win this series against the Astros, win that series against the Rangers, we're coming out next week feeling a whole lot different about this team, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially since their division games, obviously the A's were, but yeah, it kind of bothered me watching San Francisco. I mean, their stadium was packed.
They're 8-1.
Pretty much. But yeah, I was going to mention they are a really good team. They lost only 1 game to the Reds, but yeah, they swept us, obviously, but also the Houston Astros. So this would be to answer your question, I think if you're able to take this series, I think it'll erase a lot. Just taking 2 out of 3 would be huge.
Yeah, it would be huge because you would jump ahead of the Astros, who by the way, yeah, they're ahead of you in the standings, but they're not off to a great start either. Now, I don't put a ton into that because we saw they got off to a bad start last year.
Yeah.
And Mariners had a 10-game lead on them, and then we saw how the season ended. But right now, the Astros are 4-5, so they're a losing team. They did win their last game, but yeah, they're 2-4 at home. They're 2-1 on the road, the Astros. So see if we can get that to a losing record on the road for them. Rangers, are off to a good start. They're 8-2. And that's the team we talked about. That shouldn't be a big surprise to anybody because we talked about that in the previews leading up to this season, and every analyst we talked to said, keep your eye on the Rangers. They were absolutely riddled with injuries last year. This team's healthy. It's a different team when they're healthy, and so far everybody was right. So,
yeah. Yeah, so I mean these are huge games right here, and obviously if they lose both of these series, now you're all of a sudden going to start to get, I don't know about panic mode, but and who was it, Amsinger that said Labor Day or Veterans Day or whatever the next, it was April 26th or
as far as what
or May 26th, as far as like the line of demarcation of 40, 45. I think it was 45 or 46 games in.
Yeah, I think we've asked that to a few different people. Maybe Morosi and others have talked about their mark. Everybody's got a different marker. I've always kind of set it at 40, 45, whatever. That's where I feel like you get a very clear picture of what the team is. Now,
but it's not at 3-7.
No. You don't feel good about it, but it's not a finished product at this point, certainly. The Robles injury wasn't the only significant setback for the Mariners offense over the weekend. We'll get into that next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
When you're on the pitch clock and don't have time for your favorite Seattle sports shows, listen to the podcasts on demand.
How about that? Unbelievable. Who would have thought?
Every hour, every interview, every look behind the scenes.
Dan Wilson's the new skipper.
This is a window. This is a time where we can get it done, and that's the hope. That's the vision for this club.
Find us on seattlesports.com, the Seattle Sports app, or wherever you get podcasts.
Holy smokes!
Never miss a minute of Seattle sports, the home of the Mariners.
Are you a small business owner who needs immediate cash flow? At Swish Funding, we have flexible funding options from $25,000 to $2 million. For the best rates and terms for your business, just one application to Swish Funding gives you access to our entire network of funders, with cash in your account in as little as 24 hours. To qualify, you must be in business for at least 1 year with monthly revenue of $50,000. Apply at swishradio.com and use code GROW. Swishradio.com, code GROW.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm? I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
Pizza Hut's fan favorite Cheesy Bites pizza is back. For just $15.99, get a large pizza with 28 pullable, poppable, cheese-filled bites. Plus the new Ranch Lovers Flight with ultimate chipotle and pepperoni ranch dips. Order now at pizzahut.com.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-371-0505. 800-371-0505.
Getting engaged? At Shane Company, dream engagement rings are our specialty. We have the most beautiful natural and lab-grown diamonds, hand-picked in every price range, ready to compare side by side. Shop online at shaneco.com or in store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
From groceries to home prices, the cost of living in Washington state keeps going up. Now, Olympia politicians are proposing the largest tax increases in state history. Don't be fooled. If taxes go up, we'll all pay even more. Washington needs lower costs, not higher taxes. Tell the politicians no by visiting www.affordablewashington.org. Paid for by the people for an affordable Washington. Top 5 contributors are Washington Alliance for a Competitive Economy, Microsoft, Madrona, T-Mobile, and Amazon.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business, powering possibilities.
Now through April 21st, new customers can get started with 150 megabit internet and security edge for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying internet package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires enrollment and paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra and subject to change. Early termination fee applies.
If you're looking for a new Mazda, go see our friends at Mazda of Everett. With over 790 new Mazdas in stock at 11409 Highway 99 in Everett, they have something for every budget and credit type. Save up to $3,970 on new Mazda CX-5s. Come meet the team and see why they've been Washington's largest Mazda dealer since 2015. Exceptional service and always their lowest prices. Visit in-store or online at MazdaofEverett.com today. MSRP for stock number 26315 is $30,585.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Text line is there for you, 866-979-3776, powered by Mac and Jack's Brewing Company. I threw the question out there earlier, is your Astros hate still alive or is it just me? Mm-hmm. And it turns out I am not alone, Dave. Lots of texts. Lots of texts coming in saying, oh, no, the hate burns bright in this household.
I think Jose Altuve is the one that's keeping it together as well.
You think so?
Yeah.
Just his presence?
I think he's going to get booed the loudest, of course, but he's also kind of tearing it up right now. I mean, small sample size, but he's batting .359 right now. So, yeah, he's
maybe they can make him look silly in left field. He's misplay a ball or two.
Yeah.
His tiny little legs aren't going to be able to get him to some of these balls in the gap. How about that? He's going to take 8,000 steps where somebody else would take 27 steps.
What's that noise from the cartoons? That that's what he looks like with his little legs running around out there.
Look at his little legs. Yeah, so we'll see how it looks with him in left field, and maybe they can have him flopping around out there. That'd be just delightful. But it's good to know I'm not alone in my absolute hatred of that team, that organization, and that fan base. So, yes, they are in town, and 3 games. Get this game. Just start it off on the right foot. I want 2 of 3. Doesn't matter which 2, but I think if you get the first one, you just feel better. Logan's on the hill.
Yeah.
You just want to get started on the right foot after what happened over the weekend. So we'll see what goes on there. But another situation that sort of cropped up is Jorge Polanco was not in the starting lineup for the final 2 games of the Giants series because they're resting the knee. I don't know if it was bothering him or if it's just part of their plan going in, but it's not optimal because he's one of your best hitters right now. Offensively speaking, he's off to a tremendous start. Defensively at third, there's been some shaky moments here and there, and he hasn't been there a ton. But Dan Wilson talked Sunday before the game and just talked about taking precautions with that knee.
Well, I mean, I think we knew, going in, we're going to have to be a little cautious. So, we're just going to give him a little bit more rest today and then see where we're at tomorrow.
Now, he didn't get a complete day off because once the Robles injury happened, they started shifting people around, and Mastrobuoni got moved to the outfield, and Dylan Moore went back to third base from first base, and then they had to put Polanco over there at first base. It was for 1 pitch.
Yeah.
But he was out there.
I feel like he's a good option at DH. It just lines up perfectly just because, he's got the knee injury and, that's going to be tough for him. I don't know. Do you think he's one of those players, though, that remember Nelson Cruz liked playing right field because it got him into the flow of the game?
Yeah, but he wasn't good.
No, it wasn't great.
And so far, I would say that's true of Polanco at third. It's a small sample size. I'm certainly open to giving him an opportunity, but the early reviews are not glowing. Yeah. So I would feel better about him as just being your DH. Yeah, if you need a spot start at third or second because somebody needs a day off or somebody's hurt, he could do it, but he shouldn't be your first defensive option anywhere.
Yeah, and he's only played in 5 games, but 4 RBIs, bunch of hits, batting .400, 3 strikeouts, and it's not a ridiculous number. And we haven't really been looking at the strikeout numbers lately, but they started off horrible. But, it all lines up for him to be the DH because we haven't had a good DH here for a long time. And, he's just not looking great at third base.
No, and if you've got other defensive options there and if his bat stays hot, let him be the DH. Let him just do that and keep the wear and tear of him even just standing out there. I'm sure might aggravate the knee. I don't know how tender it is, but just standing out there and having to move left or right and plant and cut, do those things. Who knows how much that aggravates it if he's just your DH. Maybe he's more available than if he's playing third base, for a couple times a week.
The thing that worries me is, I always say this, the reason why you get sore like in football, and I'm sure it's the same way in baseball, is that when you get into a game, your eyes take you where you're going. So it's almost like an unexpected, if he sees something hit to his right, he's going to explode over there to go get it. Whereas, when you're up as a DH, just, you're hitting, when you're going to swing and how much, you're going to load your front knee and all that. So that's where, I'm like, man, for his bat right now, like I said, batting 400, I mean, why risk it?
Yeah.
He's not like that. He's not that great of an option at third base anyway.
Yeah, you're not missing his glove. You're missing his bat, at least at the start of the season. Hopefully he can maintain something. I don't think he's going to hit 400 all year, but if he's going to be a productive hitter, you want him in that lineup as much as you possibly can because you don't have 1 through 9 that are killing it. So you need anybody that's productive to remain there as much as possible, and that obviously includes him. And if it's going to take some of the wear and tear off of his just standing there. We've heard players talk about just standing out there, how they feel it in their legs when you're out there for 9 innings, and even if the ball's not being hit to you, you feel it. So I would imagine coming off a surgery on that knee, him just standing out at third and doing all that has an impact. So why don't we just limit that? You're not missing his glove. You're missing his bat.
Yeah.
And by the way, I was just looking at the strikeouts. Mariners are 15th.
How about that? That's a huge improvement. I think they were second to last time I checked. There was a ton of swing and miss in the A's series.
Yeah, Cubs are number 1, Pirates, Rockies, Yankees, Red Sox, Tigers, blah, 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 all the way down. Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, Mariners are sitting at 15 with 85 strikeouts. The Cubs have 100. So there's a lot of teams bunched up within a couple strikeouts of each other. It's 10 games. But at least they're not in the top 10 or 5. So there's that.
Well, we've talked about just a marginal, the way their pitching goes, and it used to be defense. We'll see what happens with the defense this year, but it's just anyway. Yeah, strikeouts are down, and it's just been something that's been so frustrating as far as Mariner offense goes.
Well, we talked about it, at the beginning of the show. I went through and looked at the numbers. They are getting traffic. They're getting guys on base. In that 3-game series, now these are bad numbers, but it speaks to opportunity that was there. They just didn't capitalize. So they got swept by the Giants. In those 3 games combined, Mariners left 35 runners on base.
Oh, my goodness.
They were 5 for 32 with runners in scoring position in those those 3 games. So they had 32 opportunities with runners in scoring position. A lot of opportunity. They just didn't capitalize on it. They had a lot of base runners that they left stranded out there, 35 in 3 games. So they're creating traffic. I mean, you can look at somebody like J.P. Crawford is not hitting squat right now, but he's walking. He's worked a number of walks. So that part of it is good. I mean, you need to see him do some damage, but he's hitting a $146, but he's got a 361 on base.
Yeah.
Which shows you he's got 9 walks. He's got 9 walks in 10 games. So
nice. Now,
he needs to start hitting the ball, but at least he's finding a way. We talked about this to begin the season. He's a guy that typically is going to make the pitcher work. He's going to see a lot of pitches, and he's working his way on base. So if you're not going to hit, at least he's doing that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you need these. So he's getting on, but you just need to start pushing some of these runs across.
He's the opposite of Victor Robles.
Yeah.
Who's going up there aggressively and
hitting 273, and his on base is 283.
Yeah. But, I mean, he's not letting a lot of pitches go by.
No, he doesn't have a single walk all year.
Yeah.
so he's the opposite. He's going up there, he's hacking, he's looking to do some damage, steal bases, what have you. So his average looks good, but the on base is not great. At least it's 10 games. But yeah, so it's you saw some positives in there. It's ultimately the bottom line business of it. You lost 3 games. You're 3-7. That's not good. It's not acceptable. This is where you can turn it around and more importantly, maybe gain some favor with a fan base that at this point seems almost, some of them seem almost eager to go, see, told you, they stink. So by the way, I don't think I said this when Ryan was on, but our weekly conversation with Rowland-Smith is presented by Mazda of Everett. If you guys missed any of that conversation, you'll be able to find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Meanwhile, we did get some injury updates on key Mariners earlier. We're going to catch you up on all of the latest coming up next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
We are now speaking with the architect of your Seattle Seahawks.
How we doing, football fans? With Seahawks President of Football Operations and General Manager John Schneider.
My job is to do what's best for the Seattle Seahawks organization. I have to keep wrapping my mind around that and trying to communicate effectively.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
What's the standard the Seahawks defense needs to be held to under Mike McDonald?
The John Schneider Show.
Brought to you by Pizza Hut.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver Card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Hey, it's Dr. Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. Spring is here and it's time to make some changes. I have a plan that has helped over 4,000 people in the Seattle-Tacoma area lose up to 1 pound per day. No surgery, no exercise, no box packaged food, and no drugs or injections with potential side effects. We have a team of health coaches that can support you every step of the way. Schedule your free 15-minute, no-pressure phone consultation online at eastsideweightlosclinic.com and also see our incredible before and after transformations.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here with Ryan Rowland-Smith.
Thanks, Mike. I've been hearing for about 2 years now how you did the Eastside Weight Loss Clinic plan, and you lost a ton of weight. So I decided to see what the program was all about, and I'm so glad I did. So far, I've lost 30 pounds, and my only regret is not starting sooner.
Let our proven system help you lose 20 to 30 pounds or more in just 60 days. You can start our program in person at our Kirkland office or remotely from anywhere you live. Schedule your free phone consultation online at eastsideweightlosclinic.com. That's eastsideweightlosclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary. Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
I was just looking at some of the tweets on the Mariners on Twitter, and Shannon Dreyer about an hour ago tweeted out, Robles just got in, headed to the weight and training rooms. He is still loud.
I love it. That's great news. That's great news.
Oh, my goodness. He's still loud. Meanwhile, the lineup is out for tonight. Your new leadoff hitter, at least for tonight, is Julio Rodriguez. Jorge Polanco back in the lineup will be hitting second. Randy Arozarena hitting third. Batting cleanup is Cal Raleigh. Luke Raley will be playing right field. Rowdy Tellez at first. Dylan Moore at third. Ryan Bliss at second. And J.P. Crawford still in the 9 spot playing shortstop.
Rowdy's made some pretty good picks over there at first base.
Yeah, he didn't look too bad. Yeah. I haven't seen him really tested, on a hot shot to his left or right, but he's made some decent plays. He looks more. Competent seems like a bad word. He looks more adept than Luke Raley does at first.
That's a good word.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, I feel a little bit. I don't know if he's a gem, but I feel better with him there than I do with Raley at first. So there you go. Julio is your leadoff hitter tonight. So we'll see how things go. Maybe let's hope he picks up where he left off in San Francisco. 4 hits, 2 home runs.
So Shannon said he's going into the weight room?
Weight training room. So I don't know that he was working out. I think he's going into the training rooms and
into the training room.
Just said he's walking through there. And he's still loud.
Well, that means he's probably not as hurt as we thought. But that guy must be made of rubber because he pretty much bent all the way backwards.
Yeah.
The way you're not supposed to. And came out of there with I thought it was his wrist at first.
That's what he was holding initially. And he kind of put weight on his arms. He was like on all fours, and then watching the trainer kind of help him up off the ground by his shoulder area. I'm thinking, okay, well, it's not his shoulder if they're grabbing him there, but apparently he was. So we'll hope for the best with the MRI, and maybe it'll just be that 10-day stint on the IL. But he is officially on the IL, and Dom Canzone's been called back up. So I would imagine you'll see a platoon in right field between Raley and Canzone of some sort. Meanwhile, Justin Hollander was addressing the media. Again, something he normally has scheduled. I don't think this was called specifically, like, let's get out the news on Robles and everything, but that was the news, and here he is giving the update on Victor.
He's going to go on the IL today. You guys have seen Canzone here. We'll announce that that's a recall for Victor's spot shortly. I don't know anything beyond that. He's getting imaging done this afternoon, so we will know a timeline after the imaging. Everything else I would tell you would just be totally guessing, and I don't think it's super additive. So we'll know more in the next 24, 36 hours.
So, yeah, we'll wait. We'll wait for the MRI and see what it tells us, and hopefully it's all good news.
Yeah, hopefully I'm trying to remember what it's called.
Subluxation or sublex something. Yeah.
And yours stayed out. I had one where it went out and then came back in. But then once it stretches and everything, you got to keep it tight and it eventually led to surgery for me. But, I was able to play the rest of the year with it. So hopefully he's able to do that. But I don't know, man, with that swing.
Yeah, a little different. Don't they just wrap you up in football, put a brace on there, and kind of pin it to your body, and you're good to go, versus a swing where that's his left arm, so that's his lead hand going out there as a right-handed hitter.
Remember Jamal Adams had that, where his arm was like attached to his side, or they had it fastened so he couldn't. And I remember he missed a couple of tackles because of that, but. Yeah, I don't know if you can do that with him, because he's got to be able to throw and.
Well, yeah, that's his glove hand, so he's got to be able to reach and we'll see. Hopefully again, the texter that said he's prone to being a little dramatic. Hopefully that's the case, and he'll be okay. That's fingers crossed. Meanwhile, a couple of other updates. Matt Brash, Hollander talking about him being almost ready for a rehab assignment.
Matt Brash is going to throw a live BP on Wednesday here. And then we will talk about a rehab assignment in Tacoma at that point. I can't tell you how long. It kind of depends on how he feels and what we see with our eyes / what the data says. But very likely to begin a rehab assignment end of this week, early next week with Tacoma. At that point, hopefully the BP goes well on Wednesday here.
So that's good news. I mean, we saw him throwing when we were down there in spring training. And this wasn't soft toss out in the outfield and just lollipopping the ball back and forth. He was up on the mound, and he had some velocity. I mean, he looked like he was throwing really hard when we were out in spring training. So, and we talked to him, and he felt good, and it sounds like everything's progressing the right way with him, and they're being very deliberate, which I guess is good. Make sure everything's okay, and that'll be a huge addition to that bullpen.
Oh, I can't wait to get Brash back in there. He's so dynamic with that slider. But it's a shame that you talked about how they don't really have any margin for error as far as especially injuries.
Yeah, they have no depth.
The depth is terrible, and they've had to go through their entire, we almost had a position player out there pitching. So,
by the way, did you hear, was it yesterday's game or it was one of the three games? They were speculating as to, who would the pitcher be?
Yeah.
And
I just assumed Dylan Moore.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was Brad or somebody said Rowdy Tellez has pitched before in a mop-up game where his team was up by, it was like 16-2 or something, and they threw him in there. So I don't know if he's their guy, but he does at least have some experience of being on a mound. And I think it was like a playoff clinching game, but they were so far ahead that they threw him out there. But yeah, I guess it was a clincher, and he was on the hill, so maybe he would have been the guy. But, yeah, they ran out of arms in the bullpen.
All right. Yeah, there we go. Another text question, 866-979-3776, Mac and Jack's Brewing Company. Who would you like to be? Who's the position player that you would like to see if it's needed on the mound? I'm going Demo. Definitely.
Just because I think that's the only thing he hasn't done. Maybe he has. Has he ever
utility player?
Did we look at that, Lefko? I think he's played every position but catcher
and pitcher, right?
And he's never pitched in a game.
No, but he literally 2023 he played every single position.
Yeah,
except those two.
Yeah. Why not?
Amazing.
Why not? Throw him out there. One more from Hollander. This is on where George Kirby is currently.
George Kirby threw a pen this weekend, felt great. He'll throw 2 pens this week and then begin more of a traditional spring training type game progression at that point. I don't have an exact timeline. Some of it depends on how he feels and how things work through the game situations that he's in. But again, he's tracking well. I anticipate the 2 pens going well this week, and then we'll go from there with game progression.
So he's on a spring training type of schedule, which to me tells me May. I think we were hoping for the end of April. I'm guessing it's probably more like May that we're going to see Kirby.
What a shame. What a shame. But
well, yeah, especially since the 2 times his turn has come up, it has not gone well.
Yeah.
With the guys that, the other Luis Castillo and Emerson Hancock filling those spots, and we'll see what they do. And the next time that turn comes up, but it has not turned out well.
That's got to be killing him. Just killing him. Remember how he all of a sudden was a little grouchy down at spring training?
Yeah.
Now you see why.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope that's why. I hope that's just not how he is anyway. that wouldn't be fun. All right, there are a couple of Michigan players who the Seahawks could draft early on, and if you look at some of the mock drafts, they are attached to the Seahawks in various mocks out there. We'll talk to John Jansen. He's the color analyst on their radio broadcast. He'll join us next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
We are now speaking with the architect of your Seattle Seahawks.
How we doing, football fans?
With Seahawks president of football operations and general manager John Schneider.
My job is to do what's best for the Seattle Seahawks organization. I have to keep wrapping my mind around that and trying to communicate effectively.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
What's the standard the Seahawks defense needs to be held to under Mike McDonald?
The John Schneider Show.
Brought to you by Pizza Hut.
We've all been there, sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
Right now, have beautiful, ultra-efficient, clean technology windows installed and pay 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 18 months. Only from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. And they'll even pay your sales tax. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Need a new roof, a deck, siding, windows? Get up to $3,000 off any new installation. Hi, it's Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Home projects can add up fast, but we're here to help you save big. Book now and lock in up to $3,000 off in savings. That's $3,000 off any new installation. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free estimate today. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
Need a break from everything? Escape to a place where anything is possible and the fun never stops. At Silver Reef Casino Resort, you'll discover world-class dining, championship caliber golf, and so much more. Come join the fun and see why we've been consistently rated one of the region's top destinations. Visit silverreefcasino.com to book your stay and discover all the exciting events and promotions we have in store for you. Silver Reef Casino Resort, located off I-5, exit 260.
find out more at silverreefcasino.com.
Meanwhile, at Xfinity. So, influencer life going well?
Oh, yeah. I'm up to 32 followers.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah, posting my tap dancing videos is easier than ever because we engineered Xfinity Internet with 99.99% network reliability.
Plus, Xfinity Mobile with Wi-Fi Power Boost gives you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. But wait, tap dancing? You don't tap dance.
Hey, what I lack in skill, I make up with passion.
Do more of what you love and love how fast you do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and 1 unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for 1 year and save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet plus 1 unlimited welcome line and AT&T Internet 300 plus 1 unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Actual speeds vary. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
Whether you're shaping up a small yard or tackling serious acreage, Steel walk-behind zero-turn and stand-on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel, let's go mow. Available at participating dealers.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Go from daydreamer to industry leader with Amazon Business. From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Who's cutting down the nets this year? Get in on all the tournament action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest upsets to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Well, the Mariners get back to it at home tonight. They welcome the hated Astros to town for a 3-game series, and judging by our texts, the hate is still alive and well for the Astros. Logan Gilbert will take the hill for Game 1. You can catch all of the action beginning at 5:30 right here with the pregame show, 6:40 first pitch. And then they'll get the day off on Thursday and welcome the Texas Rangers to town. Meanwhile, games going on right now. Pirates out in front of the Cardinals in the top of the second, 1-0. They're headed to the top of the second in Washington. No score between the Dodgers and Nationals. Same is true in the bottom of the first between the Red Sox and Blue Jays. They are scoreless. Still to come, Mets and Marlins, Twins taking on the Royals, Rangers, Cubs, Orioles and Diamondbacks, Reds taking on the Giants, Padres taking on the Sacramento Athletics, and one final, the Tigers take out the Yankees, 6-2 the final.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Well, we are under 3 weeks away from the NFL draft, and everybody getting excited about what their team may do, who they may bring in to help, and there are a lot of names coming out of Michigan that people are interested in. So we got the perfect guy joining us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. He is the analyst on the Michigan football radio broadcast. John Jansen is with us. John, how are you, man?
I'm doing great. It's great to hear from you guys, and I'm excited as everybody else. The NFL doesn't do it they do it as good as anybody of creating excitement throughout the entire calendar.
Yeah, they do. It is year-round. It is 24/7. They just own the sports world, and this will be a big day, certainly, for a lot of Michigan players, or I guess former Michigan players. Before we get into specific names, do you have any idea as to how many guys you expect? You expect 5, 10? What's the number of Michigan players you expect to be drafted?
It'll be interesting because guys like Donovan Edwards and Khalil Mullins, both running backs, Donovan will probably be drafted. He's probably maybe a day 3 guy. Khalil Mullins would be a late day 3 guy. And it's, Donovan is more just simply on his skill set and the potential that he has as a receiver coming out of the backfield. Khalil wasn't able to work out because of surgery after the season. And so it really depends on some of the team needs. And, some of the defensive backs that we have coming out, Wesley Walker and Amir Hall, both of those guys could be, special teamers and could be guys that eventually find their ways on the roster. I just don't know if they're guys that will be drafted or they're going to be undrafted free agents. So I think there's going to be eight or 9 guys that are probably drafted, but that might be on the high side.
Hey, John, so I'm looking at these 2 defensive linemen Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant. And I love Mason Graham. Boy, he's so active and he's really hard to block. But you being an ex-offensive lineman, which one would you least want to play against of those two guys?
Honestly, I'd at least want to play against Kenneth Grant. I think the ceiling is really high, and I was surprised when Mason Graham weighed in at the combine. If I went up against the defensive lineman that was about 295 and is his size, I'd kind of be excited about that. Now you get hit in the mouth a couple of times, and that excitement starts to wane. And then, Mason Graham, one of the things that he does really well is he's a former wrestler, and the way that he uses his body, the way that he uses your body weight against you. But Kenneth Grant, and I know Kenneth is not going to go nearly as high as Mason, and he's going to take a little bit more time to develop. But if he really masters the craft of being a defensive tackle in the NFL with his size, his speed, his strength, I think he's going to be an absolute beast. He just won't be as impactful early in his career as Mason will be.
Hey, John, a lot of what we hear from people, analysts, about players coming out of college is that the college game doesn't often set them up for success at the pro level. And a lot of that is directed at old linemen, it feels like. But I'm just curious with Harbaugh out there, a guy who's obviously played in the NFL, coached in the NFL. What kind of impact has he had on the development of kids coming out of Michigan? Do you feel like maybe there's an edge that they're a little more pro-ready than perhaps some other schools?
Well, it was the pro-style offense, and so that obviously gets you ready. And defensively, bringing in Jesse Minter, Mike McDonald, those guys all got defensive players ready for the NFL because of their experience at that level, as well as, calling defense at that level. So I do think that, Michigan players were, ready to enter the NFL, maybe a little bit more than others. But, by the time you go to minicamp, by the time you get into training camp and, that experience, reps at practice, if you're willing to sit there and learn the NFL game and the ins and outs, I mean, the only position that just it takes a long time is the quarterback position. Other than that, you can have a little bit of advantage going into minicamp, but I think it all gets washed out by the time camp starts and by the time you're ready for games.
Hey, John, this Colston Loveland looks pretty interesting. He's tight end, and a lot of people have the Seahawks taking him with the 18th pick. Does he have that kind of swagger that, some of these tight ends in the league right now, Mark Andrews and Kittle and Kelsey? I mean, could he be that kind of guy at tight end?
He could be, and I mean, he's got a really good football IQ, and like those other guys, right? And reads defenses, understands where he fits in as a tight end, how the receivers are affecting the coverage, and obviously a defense in the NFL is going to be a little bit more intricate, but he really has that feel of where to sit down, where to run through, some of those some of those zones, and I think he's going to have a hell of an NFL career. And here's the thing is, he's 6'5", he's got long arms, he's got a really nice catch radius, so you can put the ball where only he can get it, and he can actually go get it. So to be able to protect, the quarterback and to be able to protect where that ball goes and have a tight end that can shield the defender with his body, knows where to sit down. Now, the thing that he's going to have to improve upon, and this is where I think Mark Andrews is leaps and bounds above a lot of other tight ends, is being able to set the edge in the run game, being an effective force in the run game. And Colston Loveland in college has improved, and it's been something that we've talked about. I've talked with him a lot about at the next level, and it's a point of emphasis for him. He's getting better, but I think that's where he's going to need to take the biggest strides to be a well-rounded tight end.
As far as O-linemen go, I mean, every team seems to need O-linemen, and certainly the Seahawks have a pressing need for interior O-linemen. What do the Wolverines have coming out into the draft in the way of O-linemen that you think are difference makers at the next level, if any of them?
Not this year. This is not a year where there's going to be a lot of guys. I mean, you've got some tackles, and Josh Preeb is the guy that I think he'll have a shot but was underwhelming in what he was able to do as transfer from Northwestern. I know his pro day went real well, but the film don't lie. And there's a lot that he needs to work on and a lot he'll need to overcome when he gets into training camp. And it's just being a well-rounded offensive lineman. It's about run. It's about where you put your hat in your hands. Positioning in the NFL is so vital. But it's really that hands game, being able to get your hands on someone. And, those defensive linemen, they don't like it. So if you get your hands knocked down, how do you get them repositioned, balance? All of those things were a bit of a challenge this year for the Michigan O-line. So hopefully, he's been able to work on that. And, the guys that we have coming out in the future, I think, may provide some more offensive linemen in the NFL.
John, I think we might have visited with you about this last year, but just your interaction with Mike McDonald when he was coaching at Michigan and just kind of what you noticed about him. And I'm wondering if you're following his career as it just started here in Seattle.
Mike is such a great guy, and I think he's a great teacher. He does a really good job I've sat in meetings with him. What's going on in his head, what's going on the whiteboard. He does a great job of getting that information to the players. Now, obviously, as a head coach, and I know he's still working with the defense, but he's a good leader. And here's a funny story for you. The 21 Ohio State game, he's the defensive coordinator. And, I mean, you guys have seen Mike. You know who he is. And he looks like he's about 18 years old. We're celebrating after the game on the field, beating Ohio State. He lost his credentials and was trying to work his way around, and the stadium staff didn't believe that he was one of the coaches, so they wouldn't let him down to the locker room after the game. So it was that's what you get with Mike, right? He's a mature guy, but he looks like he's about 18 years old. So just make sure that no matter where he goes, he's got his credentials.
Hey, John, last one for me. I was just looking through Michigan. We forget how successful that program has been. What's it like being around a team like that? You go 12-2 and 21, 13-1, win 15 straight. Last year, maybe a little bit of a disappointment, but man, it was. I got to believe that Michigan fans are pretty spoiled.
We certainly are. And, I mean, as a former player, and you talk about the offensive linemen, and you guys obviously are very familiar with Steve Hutchinson. Yeah. He was one of my teammates, Jeff Backus, Jake Long followed. I mean, there's just been a number of guys, and a lot of players have gone from Michigan to the NFL. We've had some recent success, and you mentioned the bump in the road last year. It's just a lot of fun to be around a program that you don't reach your goal every year of winning a Big Ten championship or a national championship, but to have guys with that single mindset that they're willing to do anything for the team to win that championship, you're going to be more successful than not. And it's just great to be around a program with that type of mindset.
John Jansen, analyst from the Michigan radio broadcast, has been our guest here with Wyman and Bob. John, really appreciate you taking time with us as always. Thanks so much, and hopefully we get a chance to chat again in the future.
That sounds great. Thanks for having me.
There you go, everybody. If you missed any part of that conversation with John Jansen, you can find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Just click the podcast tab, scroll down to our picture and click on that, and it'll be right there waiting for you. And don't forget, you can click subscribe and never worry about it again. It's totally free. It just shows up for you. It's a beautiful thing. So there you go. There's a couple of names that trying to keep up with all the names attached to the Seahawks. At this point, there's been 8,000 mock drafts out there. I think they're up to, mock draft 4.0. Yeah. Everybody's got their different versions, and there'll be more all the way up until the first night of the draft. But
well, I get the first round and even the second round, but when people go through the whole thing, I mean, come on, man. Yeah, somebody texted in the other day, who's a good fifth round offensive lineman? And I replied, Joe Schmagegi.
Hey, don't sleep on Schmagegi. Yeah. That guy can get things done.
But Michigan, man, I mean, I think it was last year they set a record with 7 top 100 picks in the draft. So
he said he felt like it could be 8-ish players. None of them all linemen, though.
Yeah.
That's
Isn't
so
that weird.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, a couple of the names that we talked about with him that were attached to the Seahawks in different mock drafts. You had Loveland, you had Grant. I got to be honest, you've talked about not wanting to see a wide receiver taken with that first pick. A tight end for me, I would be like, all right, it better be like a Brock Bowers. It better be somebody who's a guy who's going to go out there and be an impact player. I mean, you just drafted A.J. Barner, who looks like he can be pretty good.
Yeah.
He was Michigan, right?
He's a Michigan guy.
Yeah. Do we need another Michigan tight end? I think and you look at his numbers, Loveland, they don't blow your skirt up, Dave.
Yeah.
They're not that impressive. So I don't know how he was used. He might be a star in the making. I'm not saying anything about what he will be, but if we're just looking at his numbers and what did he do at the college level, you look at it and go, that doesn't seem like number 18.
I just saw an interview of him somewhere on the net where he is at the combine and he's got his arm in like a sling. So he had to have the AC joint surgery, which I've had on my right shoulder. And it's just kind of like it's not even necessary. They just typically remove it. And so I don't think that's a problem. He looked like he had really skinny legs. And, you watch him and he's more of a wide receiver almost than I don't know about his blocking. We'll see about that. The guy I like, and I know Bucky Brooks likes him too, and he's the first Michigan player that they have being drafted at number 8 or 9, I think, is Mason Graham. And, he's played 3 years and had 9 sacks. So it, again, doesn't blow your skirt up. But, man, he is so clever on the inside as far as he's kind of like Spoon, where if the offensive lineman doesn't have a target, you don't know where to block him. And that's why I feel like Witherspoon is like unblockable pretty much because he's just always in motion. And this kid Mason Graham just has all kinds of swim moves and rip moves and just and it obviously not great numbers, but that's kind of what goes along with that. As far as the interior defensive lineman, would you be mad if they did that after having
D lineman
drafted Murphy and paid Leo?
I think I would start fantasizing about what the Eagles have and say, okay, they're trying to build their version of what Philadelphia has, which you always bring up the comment that their backups are as good as any starters that are playing for any other team.
Supposedly.
Yeah, that's the rumor. But yeah, I guess I would lean toward that. Like, okay, they are trying to make this like a top-notch, state-of-the-art defensive line, if you will, and they're going to make their bones on defense. But yeah, I think the one position, just in talking about this, I would be stunned if they took a tight end. Specifically this guy, only because I'm just looking at numbers, and maybe there's some Michigan honks out there listening going, you don't get it, he's great, and you're missing that. I'm not going to pretend I watched all the games, all the Michigan games. I saw highlights, I saw little snippets, especially when they're talking about guys at the combine. You see snippets, but yeah, his overall numbers I look at and go, that doesn't feel like a number 18 overall pick when you've got many more needs.
Yeah.
And you just drafted a tight end in A.J. Barner, who looks like he's got some promise.
He really does. And the other thing about Barner is that he is a good blocker, really good blocker. And
he's got a little edge to him.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't see all of that out of Colston Loveland. So, yeah, you mentioned his numbers. He's got 11 touchdowns, over 1,400 yards in 3 years. Yeah, I think he's really good at finding the spot to settle down in his zone. I haven't seen him a lot of man-to-man coverage, but yeah, I mean, I guess I wouldn't be mad about it. But
would you be more bothered by that or a wide receiver?
Oh, definitely wide receiver.
Really?
Yeah. So
doesn't that feel like more of a need though?
They're gonna pick it.
If we're talking about just like, priority, top of the chart is O-line, then you move your way down. Isn't receiver more of a priority than tight end at this point?
Probably.
But it would bother you more?
Yeah. It still would. No, and John, he always throws in Noah Fant.
Yeah.
So, that's another good position there. And then you got Barner, and then, it would be maybe a little bit too much as far as tight end. But, hey, if they think he's the best player in the draft that's left at number 18, there you go.
I get, yeah. I mean, nothing's off the table when it comes to this team. So you cannot rule out anything.
Yeah.
Other than maybe a kicker or a punter. Those are the two I would rule out.
Well, and I wouldn't be mad at them for taking a Michigan guy either, because you look at what they've done there since 2021. They were 12-2, 22, 13-1, and then 23, 15 straight wins. So you got 3 losses in 3 years.
Yeah.
I mean, that is incredible what they've done. So you see Michigan players all over. Like I said, they set a record last year. 7 of the top 100 were selected. So it's been amazing at Michigan, and a lot of it's because you had, Harbaugh there for a while, and he's running like a pro style type of deal.
Yeah. Well, and kind of surprising, again, not knowing who their O-linemen are. I just figured, all right, there's going to big-time program like Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama. There's just going to be O-linemen coming from these teams.
Right.
But Jansen saying, nah, not this year. Yeah. Not this year. So that's obviously the pressing need for this team. So we'll see what they do. Meanwhile, some other things going on around the NFL. Trayvon Walker becomes the first of the 2022 draft class to have his 5th-year option picked up. The deadline is May 1st, by the way. He plays for the Jags, if you're wondering who that is. But, yeah, May 1st is the deadline there, and the most likely candidate on the Seahawks for that would be Charles Cross. Is there any doubt that they would pick that up?
Yeah, I think they're going to. I don't think there's doubt there. You'd be comfortable with that?
Yeah. I think Charles Cross has been good. I don't know that he's been great. I think he's been great at times. He's been the best of what we all look at as a subpar bunch, So to me, he's the one that's the most certain of your entire O-line. Yeah. You know what you're getting. Where you see flashes, we certainly have seen it from Abe Lucas. We've seen flashes from Bradford even. You've seen flashes from different guys. But as far as game in, game out, here's what I'm going to get from this spot on the line, he's the most certain, and I don't think it's close.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't spectacular last year, but yeah, he did the job. I think he's somebody that you can rely on. And I saw him move people off the line of scrimmage. So that's one thing that really bothers me when you have an offensive line that can't do that. So, yeah, he's probably the most likely candidate, and I think most people would be happy because, at least you're making a move as far as your offensive line goes.
Yeah, and it would be a rare moment for them where, well, not that they pick up the option, but if they ultimately get to the point of signing him to an extension. We've talked about the history of O-linemen that they've drafted. You can count on one hand how many times they've re-signed him to the next deal. It just unfortunately has been a blind spot. Just hasn't worked out for him. So he would represent the first in a while where they did that. And I look at him. I'll defer to the expert eyes of Ray Roberts and those guys, but he likes him. Certainly sees a lot, and I think he's been solid. He's not Trent Williams in his prime by any stretch, but I think he's a guy who's still got a ceiling there. I don't think he's come close to reaching his potential.
Such a shame about Abe Lucas. Such a shame, because I think he's their best offensive lineman, and just the way it sounds as far as the knee goes, it's like one of those things that's going to constantly need treatment, and kind of reminds you of Jorge Polanco, and Jorge's like 31, 32, and Abe's got to be early 20s. So, yeah, and I felt like he has the most upside and the most potential. But again, much like the Mariners, it's you're at the mercy of injuries, and it's just so unfortunate. But what you've seen of Abe Lucas and Charles Cross, without all of the missed time, which one do you think's better?
Lucas was the first year. I mean, we were a little disappointed when we saw him come back last year. Like the first game back, we were excited because he looked great. He was pushing the pile. He was running downfield. And then it kind of progressed the other direction as the season went on. And I don't know if that's just, knocking the rust off, or maybe the leg isn't allowing him to be what he can be. I feel like I've just seen more. When I look at Cross, I just see consistency.
Yeah.
I think he's just consistently solid. Doesn't mean he's perfect. Doesn't mean he doesn't make mistakes. But he's just kind of the more consistent, solid. You know what you're getting out of that guy. So I guess I would defer to Cross on that question. All right, coming up, this is Dave Wyman's favorite thing to do. We're going to make our predictions for the Mariners-Astros series. Call it now. Coming your way next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
The Cal Raleigh Show.
Belted way out of here to right field. Holy smokes.
Every Thursday with Shannon Dreyer on Wyman and Bob.
Seattle has been nothing but good to me. I would love nothing more to play for one team my whole career.
Listen live on the Seattle Sports app or find the video on YouTube.
Cal Raleigh with a walk-off home run.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
47,000 fans are going crazy.
Homeowners, do you have any idea what's happening up on your roof? Because I can tell you I didn't. I don't get up on my roof. I never have been, and I don't plan on being up there. But with all of the rain, it was dumping earlier today. It was pouring yesterday. You wonder what's happening. You got to take a look at what's going on with the roof. So I had Asset Roofing come out just to do a quick inspection. They did it over a year ago and highlighted some spots we needed to keep an eye on. We'll readdress. So brought them back out to readdress it. And as always, they were early. The communication on the way to the appointment was great. They went up there, gave me a very detailed report when they were done with pictures and recommendations. Here's what we're looking at. Here's something to keep an eye on. Here's what we did. Some moss removal, clogged downspout. We unclogged that. So it couldn't be more thorough, couldn't be more of a situation that gives you peace of mind, more importantly, because now I know what's going on up there, and I got out in front of any big problems and big expensive problems while they were small. So if you're like me, you don't get on your roof, you have no idea what's happening up there, get Asset Roofing out there, do a quick inspection. It's going to give you some peace of mind. And if you're somebody that knows what's happening up there and you know you need a repair, or maybe you know you need a new roof, Asset Roofing is where you need to go. They're the best in the business. They've been in this business for over 2 decades. They have got you covered, whether it's a traditional roof, a metal roof, whatever it is, they have got it handled. You're either hiring an asset or you're hiring a liability. Head to assetroofingco.com. That's assetroofingco.com.
Hi, this is Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. Spring has sprung. Need color to brighten up your yard or privacy trees to keep your neighbors guessing? Now is the time to buy. With hundreds of trees arriving in the nursery daily, Big Trees has the perfect tree for you. Check out our updated inventory list online at bigtreesupply.com or come visit the nursery today.
Protein, protein, protein. Everyone is trying to get protein in their diet, but we need fats too. Healthy fat, that is, like the rich, natural peanut and almond butters found in G2G protein bars. Most bars don't have it because, well, most bars aren't real food or refrigerated. Fortunately for you, we aren't most bars. At G2G, you'll find a balanced helping of protein and healthy fat. The fact that they're delicious is just the bonus. They're fast, easy, and perfect for on-the-go families. G2G protein bars. Find them in the refrigerated section at Costco.
From groceries to home prices, the cost of living in Washington state keeps going up. Now, Olympia politicians are proposing the largest tax increases in state history. Don't be fooled. If taxes go up, we'll all pay even more. Washington needs lower costs, not higher taxes. Tell the politicians no by visiting www.affordablewashington.org. Paid for by the people for an affordable Washington. Top 5 contributors are Washington Alliance for a Competitive Economy, Microsoft, Madrona, T-Mobile, and Amazon.
Getting engaged? At Shane Company, we'll help you find the perfect diamond. This is your engagement ring, aka only your life's most important piece of jewelry. No need to worry. As gemstone experts since 1929, we handpick only the most beautiful natural and lab-grown diamonds cut to our high standards in every price range. We have diamonds in all shapes and sizes, ready to compare side by side right here in our store. Come see for yourself at Shanco.com or at your local store. No appointment necessary. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Collectors, Front Row Car Show is returning to Tacoma. Join us at the Greater Tacoma Convention Center on April 12th and 13th. Baseball, football, basketball, and hockey cards, plus collectibles such as Pokemon, Marvel, Star Wars, and comic books. SGC, CGC, and JSA will be there. So bring your cards, comics, and autographs to sell, trade, or get them graded. Hundreds of vendors, thousands of dollars in free prizes. Don't miss it. Front Row Card Show, Greater Tacoma Convention Center, Saturday and Sunday, April 12th and 13th, 11 to 5. For more info, go to frontrowcardshow.com. That's frontrowcardshow.com.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD, at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
Announcing the Million Hour Volunteer Rally. G here, join me, Safeway and Albertsons, and donate your time and skills to support local food banks and host food drives or fundraisers. You can win free groceries for a year and a $5,000 donation to your favorite hunger relief agency. Visit albertsons.com/volunteer to learn more. Find volunteer opportunities and log your hours. 1,000,000 hours will help create food secure communities. Visit albertsons.com/volunteer.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
What's the most you ever lost on a coin toss?
It's time for Wyman and Bob to put their reputations on the line.
I need to know what I stand to win. Everything. Call it.
This is Call It Now.
Good answer. I like the way you think.
It's Dave Wyman's favorite segment of all time. He loves making predictions.
Yes, I do.
He loves it.
I'm going to go with the... No, I'm not telling people what I'm doing.
Okay, well, we'll find out soon enough here.
First of all, 0-4. They're going to go in this series.
In a 3-game series, yeah.
No, honestly, 1-2. I think they can take one game in this series.
You have them losing the series, huh?
Yeah.
Optimistic Dave has left the building.
Yes.
Wow, okay. It's probably the smart move. But you're going against your normal instincts, so I'll go against mine. I'm going to say they're going to go 2-1. How about that?
There we go.
Take that, Dave.
It's on record.
You want to be negative Nelly? Go ahead. I'll be the ray of sunshine here.
Okay.
All right. So Dave says 1-2. I say 2-1. All right. Over under 8.5 runs scored. This is combined through 3 games.
Okay. I'm going to go under on that.
Dave's just riddled with pessimism here.
Yeah.
8.5. So I was looking at it going, all right, they're averaging, I think they're the fourth lowest total, like, average runs per game in baseball right now, the Mariners.
Oh, really?
I think it was, it was under 3.
I guess that's not surprising.
Yeah, I think I'm going to Astros have not been great. They're a losing team right now. They're only 1 game better than the Mariners. They're 4-6. All right, I'll stick with it. I'll go over 8.5 runs.
Okay.
How about runs allowed? 9.5 runs allowed. Over or under?
Over.
Dave just hates the Mariners now.
Negative
Dave.
Dave, who hates the Mariners. And he flipped me off. Come on.
Oh, did he?
You a thumbs up?
No, I don't know. It was one of his fingers.
Yeah, well, they won't have that Kirby spot coming up in this series.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go under. I'm going to take the under because they got their guys going. If that spot were to come up there, then I would probably lean toward the over. But I'm going to go under. So right now I'm all sunshine and you're all dark clouds.
Yep.
And then finally over under 4.5 home runs hit by the Mariners.
Under.
Does this feel weird for you?
It does feel weird, but I'm doing the Mariners a favor. I have that kind of power.
So when you predict good things, bad things happen.
Yeah.
So now you're predicting
that's
bad.
right. No, I've almost gone exactly. If you would have gone opposite, I think if you go back since we've been doing this, since the Mariners started these series, I think if you'd gone opposite
of your picks,
yeah, they'd be 7-3.
Yeah. So Dave feeling like he's got a lot of influence as to the overall outcome of these games. His predictions carry a lot of power, a lot of weight. Yeah, I think I'm going to go under as well. It's cold out. The weather's not awesome. The ball doesn't travel well. So tempted. No, I'm going to stick with the under. I'll stick with under. I was tempted to go over and just go ray of sunshine through this whole thing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to guess, I haven't even looked at the text, but I'm going to guess the majority on your side.
Yeah. Well, except for Trev, the UPS driver. He said they play us well. Dave is toxic today. You're damn straight.
He's tired of being positive and getting burned. He doesn't want to get hurt anymore. There's hurt.
And then there are other people going, go Dave.
Go Dave. They like negative Dave?
Yeah.
All right.
Here we go.
Like this. Yes, Dave. Love the negative Dave.
Why? Why is that?
People taking great delight in you being negative. What is that about?
Well, I think that they've probably heard this segment before and know that it's going to be totally opposite. So, I mean, I said 1 and 2. I don't even know how they're going to get that one win. No idea.
You feel like you should go 0 and 3?
Yeah, maybe I should have.
I think they get it tonight. Logan Gilbert on the hill.
Yeah.
Going with them starting out on the right foot.
I'm doing you a favor, Logan.
Boy, 206 bringing in their own over-under. Over-under 27 strikeouts for the series for the Mariners. Mariners are 15th in baseball right now in strikeouts. They're no longer amongst the elite in striking out.
You know what's funny is, I haven't really paid that much attention. I wasn't, after the first series, I was looking at the strikeouts going, this is ridiculous. And I think they were second to last, or maybe they were last. But when you go through a series like that, it kind of, that's why it felt kind of hopeful that, I come out of that series, you got swept by the Giants, but it doesn't feel that bad. And a lot of it is because of the strikeouts. It just wears on you. And it's just such a negative that, it's just overwhelming.
Yeah.
So, and you didn't get that really with San Francisco. So,
boy, the texts are flying in.
Crawled their way all the way up into middling.
Middling, 15th. 928 Arizona says Dave is pulling a George Costanza.
You're damn straight, baby.
Willem in Maple Valley says, I think most listeners agree with Dave's selection. This is one of the greatest sports days ever in Seattle.
Whoa, pump the brakes there.
Here's one. Here's Matt in Beaverton. Man, depressed Dave is the worst.
There's a Matt in Beaverton now?
Yeah. 425. It's not negative, Dave. It's realistic, Dave. Look at that.
Yeah.
I love, in capital letters, negative Dave. Let's go 0 for 3. Jeez.
Here's a guy who wants equal time here, 509. The FedEx guy says, burn it to the ground, Dave.
Wow. Downer Dave. Downer Dave is doing the Mariners a favor.
Yeah.
Negative Dave is actually realistic Dave. Somebody else called you Doomy Dave. It's just we got a whole new character on the show here. They're not used to. How come they're saying you're not being negative? You're just being realistic. Well, how come when I'm realistic, I'm negative?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Should we switch roles maybe?
That just feels like, there's a lack of consistency there. I try to be realistic. I get accused of being negative.
Yeah.
Now, you're being negative or you're being realistic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look, I mean, if you're negative, then, it doesn't look so bad when you win. I mean, I think what nobody wants to get sold a bill of goods, right? Like during the off season, it was like, oh, they're trying to tell us that they're doing exactly what they want to do. And, being negative, I think is probably it's easier, right?
It's protection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You protect yourself.
Yeah. Lefko does it with every team he roots for.
Yeah.
It's a good way to live. Not really. It's a way to live.
You seem miserable, Mike.
Yeah.
You really do.
So do the opposite of me then.
Yeah. I was trying to get what his read was for his Tennessee Titans, and I don't know. They'll screw it up somehow.
It's not what I said this time. I said Cam Ward. But yeah, they'll probably screw it up.
Yeah.
There you go. That's what you're looking for.
You just couldn't hang on to that one.
A little bit of prodding.
Hope? No hope to be found here.
Let's see, 415. I want to take this opportunity to thank Wyman in advance for the success the M's will have this week. LOL. It's lots of love, Dave.
Lots of love.
Bob, when you're negative, it makes us feel like teenagers again, disappointing dad. I'm not scolding you if I'm negative. If I think the team's going to lose, I'm pointing to the team. But yeah. Dumping Dave rocks.
Dumping Dave.
You're doomy Dave. You're depression Dave. You're dumping Dave. Wow. All right. There you go. Well, let's see if it works. You might have to keep this up all season long if the Mariners win this series.
Yeah.
So just get ready, Dave.
Okay. I'll take it.
Maybe painted yourself into a corner here.
Yeah.
All right. Coming up, Geno Smith made quite a claim in his Raiders press conference. We're going to hear about that when we sweep the dial. Coming up with Wyman and Bob, this is Seattle Sports on 710.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
We are now speaking with the architect of your Seattle Seahawks.
How we doing, football fans? With Seahawks President of Football Operations and General Manager John Schneider.
My job is to do what's best for the Seattle Seahawks organization. I have to keep wrapping my mind around that and trying to communicate effectively.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
What's the standard the Seahawks defense needs to be held to under Mike McDonald?
The John Schneider Show.
Brought to you by Pizza Hut.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
Hey, baseball fans, Rick Riz here. I'm excited to introduce you to my good friend Keith Dashafee, owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Keith?
Thanks, Rick. At Pella Windows and Doors, we pride ourselves on delivering top-quality windows and doors that enhance the beauty and energy efficiency of your home. Our products are built to last with innovative designs and exceptional craftsmanship. Whether you're looking to upgrade your windows or install new doors, Pella has you covered.
That's fantastic, Keith. Don't wait. Schedule your free appointment today at PellaPNW.com.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag with a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, Junior Hot and Crispy Fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Unlimited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California and via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
Hey, this is a great deal. Riverside Roofing is offering $1,000 off a new roof replacement, incentivizing homeowners like you to book their roof replacement right now. It's Mike Salk here, and this is a great time to do it. The days are getting longer. Post 7 p.m. sunsets, those crews can get your roof done quick, just in time for the spring rains to keep your home dry and protected. Here's what you got to do to claim your $1,000 off from Riverside Roofing. Book a free estimate from their website, riversideroofingllc.com. And when you meet with Brandon, that's Don's son, tell him you heard the message on the radio station. $1,000 back in your pocket and a brand new roof over your head. Be sure to ask Brandon about their 35 years of local experience, their GAF Master Elite certification, which puts them in the top 3% of roofers nationally, and the catch-all system, which they use to keep your yard and driveway totally free of debris like nails and shingles. It's all at Riverside Roofing LLC. SC.com. Tell them Mike Salk sent you. Go to Riverside Roofing, the roofing company you can trust.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
The noon hour of the Bump and Stacy Show is powered every day by the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com.
Whether you're shaping up a small yard or tackling serious acreage, Steel walk-behind zero-turn and stand-on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel, let's go mow. Available at participating dealers.
Harbor Freight knows time is money, so for our Spring Black Friday sale, we're getting straight to the deals. This weekend, you get 35% off jack stands, 56-inch roll cabs under $800, and 2,300 PSI electric pressure washers under $190. See? Straight to the point, so you can get straight to the savings. Whatever you do, do it for less at Harbor Freight. Valid until April 13th, 2025 while supplies last. Limitations apply.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your team and focus on your future. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that, and third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
Progressive knows when you're on your boat, you're already on vacation. And Vacation You forgets all your worries. Vacation You doesn't even keep track of time and knows that time is a meaningless construct designed to control us, man. But Regular You knows you don't want to be too far out in the water after the sun goes down because Vacation You doesn't know how to navigate in the dark yet. Vacation You and Regular You really need to get on the same page. So bundle your boat with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Scanning the airwaves for the most interesting and entertaining stories of the day. Sweeping the dial. Every afternoon at 4:45 with Wyman and Bob.
Presented by Silver Reef Casino Resort.
Geno Smith had his first press conference as a Raider today, and he wasn't shy about making one claim.
Not in a cocky or arrogant way, but I just feel that I'm one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. I'm out to go out there and prove it. I want to prove it to my teammates every day. I want to prove it to the organization every day. And then when the product goes out there on Sunday, I want to make sure that I'm one of the best.
What a cocky, arrogant jerk. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. You should be calm. That's what you want to hear, right? If you're a Raiders fan out there and you just brought this guy over, you just signed him to an extension, you don't want to hear, well, I hope I can play well.
Yeah.
I'm really, fingers crossed, guys.
Go out there, put it together, and see what we get.
Yeah, you want him to feel like, no. I'm one of the best out there, and I'm going to show you.
You know, we spent a lot of time talking about Sam Darnold and, you know, just the puzzling career that he had. It's kind of the same thing with Geno. I mean, he was in backup land there for about, 6 or 7 years, and then all of a sudden in 2022, 70% completion, 4,200 yards, 30 touchdowns. I mean, all of a sudden it just turned around for him. I think it's okay to root for Geno, no question. But, yeah, I mean, I feel like all is right with the world. Would they get a third rounder for him?
Yeah.
And, you know, that's good for the Seahawks. I feel like it's good for Geno. I think it's good for Pete. So, yeah, here we go. I'm actually rooting for him.
Sweeping the dial.
So after Houston pulled off their pretty epic comeback against Duke, Kelvin Sampson was on the court with his whole team around him doing that post-game interview, and he was basically like, hey, enough about how good Duke was supposed to be. Give us some credit.
I hear what people say. You know, Duke this, Duke that. Duke's great. John Shire is awesome. but don't sleep on Houston. We weren't 34-4 playing in the Toy Poodle League. We were 19-1 in the Big 12. Playing in the Big 12 helped us.
Wow.
Yeah, don't sleep on Houston.
You look at if you go back and look at he mentioned the 4 losses. 3 of them were overtime losses. Losses in overtime. 3 of the 4. And then the other one was against Auburn, 74-69. But yeah, I'm pulling for Houston. I like
rooting against Lefko?
Yeah, of course. No,
I have a present for Dave then, after hearing that news.
Uh-oh.
I wonder what that's going to be. That didn't sound good.
Sound like I wasn't going to do this thing or show you this thing, but now I am because you just insulted me.
I wasn't going to do this.
Maybe he's going to expose my... Oh, that thing.
That.
Yeah.
Your favorite hand signal.
I thought you were going to show everybody my picks. That would be worse. How about this LJ Cryer kid? I love field goal percentage, 90%. And he's just cold as ice. He's their leading scorer. I really like the way he plays. I like Kelvin Sampson. So, yeah, I'm pulling for Houston.
By the way, do you think next year you'll just whip through the bracket, or are you going to put in some study time again?
No, I'm going to put in study time again.
Are you?
Yeah. I'm not going to go opposite this time.
Sweeping the dial.
Well, pretty big hockey milestone yesterday. Yesterday morning, Alex Ovechkin scored his 895th career goal, breaking Wayne Gretzky's all-time NHL record.
He's just trying to find a seam and know that, hey, I'm going to try to force it to him if he's open. Here's Ovechkin. Shoots! He scores! He scores! Number 895!
Wow. So is he the great one now?
Goal-wise, yeah. So assists, Wayne Gretzky is still like miles in front of everyone. It's crazy how good he was distributing the puck in addition to scoring. I forget the exact total, but his assist total is absurdly high.
So it's not close.
No one's ever catching it.
It's 1953, 63
for Gretzky.
For Gretzky, and I want to say the closest is like 1,068.
Is it somebody who's still playing?
No.
It's Ron Francis, actually. So, yeah, 1,963.
He's
Ron
not catching
Francis,
him. Ron's got no shot.
1,249. So
Wow.
he's like 700 assists behind Gretzky.
Yeah.
That's absurd.
So it's amazing, some of the names there. Gretzky, Gordie Howe, old-time hockey.
Yeah.
Old-time hockey, Bob.
Where's Mario Lemieux? Is he on that list?
Yeah, he's number 11.
Number 11?
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, that's an amazing career. I always kind of marvel over and just a little bit covet people that have those kinds of careers, just because mine was opposite of that. Just able to stay healthy and play for a really long time.
Yeah, it's good on how many years has Ovechkin been in the league?
Just looking that up. It's 20 years. So he entered when he was 19. Now he's 39. They play forever. It's crazy.
How many years did Gretzky play?
And he played a long time too. I don't know.
He ended up playing for a handful of teams though, right?
Yeah, Edmonton, the Kings.
Did he play for the Rangers?
More. Yeah.
And the Blues?
You got more hockey knowledge than me on that.
Yeah.
My Gretzky knowledge is very limited, Bob.
Okay. The Coyotes, I think he played for them, didn't he? Or
the
did he
non-existent
just
Coyotes anymore.
Or was he just part of the front office?
He definitely was part of the front office.
I don't know if he ever played for him.
That failed franchise.
Yeah, what did they become? Who do they turn into?
Utah. Utah, no nickname.
The Utah Hockey Club.
Yes.
They're going to have a name next year, though, right?
Yeah, it's been very secretive. No hints revealed yet. I don't know why. I don't know why teams do this. Washington, we know.
I don't either.
They did it. Washington football team.
How long were they at the Washington football team? Was it
just a season?
Just one season, yeah.
You can't come up with something and...
Well, they got to vote. They got to get the fans engaged and, see which way the fans are leaning. They did the same thing here with the Kraken. Right? They didn't go by Seattle Hockey Club, but they got the fans engaged, get them involved.
Yeah.
Which of these 4 do you like the best? And, you want to activate your fan base. So I get it. And then all that Utah Hockey Club merchandise will be collector's item stuff.
Kind of smart, actually. Double up the merch, right? You sell all Utah hockey gear year one. I'm sure some schmagegi bought a bunch of Washington football gear.
Yeah.
Now they have
a bunch
that
of
stored
schmagegis
away.
bought it. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what the numbers are of number of people that bought that. Maybe just to be funny and like, or
it's limited. They're going to be called
like
something else. So
only 1 year. So yeah,
10, 20 years down the road,
you and 15,000 other people are going to have the hockey club T-shirt.
I guarantee somebody's closet is packed with Utah Hockey Club merch, and same with Washington, the Washington football team. There's somebody that's like, I stocked up on everything. This is going to be worth a ton down the road.
Well, you did an update the other day, the snapshot, where was that last week, where the jersey sales that were like millions and millions of dollars?
Crazy. Yeah, Jordan jerseys specifically, but yeah. All right, coming up, we'll get the latest on Victor Robles, this Mariners team, everything going on with them. Adam Jude of the Seattle Times is going to join us next. Plus, we'll find out what we learned as well. All of that coming your way with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy. Weekdays 10 to 2.
What might be different with Dan Wilson? The type of baseball that feels slightly more sustainable. Like when they won last year, this is what it looked like.
Yeah.
Maybe you score late, maybe your run production is in an inning, maybe two. It's usually bombs, and then your pitching is elite enough to hold the other team to two or less.
Bombs won the game, but we know the philosophy of this team is kind of just put the ball in play and advance these runners.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Pizza Hut's fan favorite Cheesy Bites pizza is back for just $15.99. Get a large pizza with 28 pullable, poppable cheese-filled bites, plus the new Ranch Lovers Flight with ultimate chipotle and pepperoni ranch dips. Order now at pizzahut.com. Our friends at Mazda of Everett always offer you their lowest price. Shop over 800 new Mazdas online at mazdaofeverett.com. Click on Get the Mazda of Everett price for their best deal. Shop mazdaofeverett.com or stop in and meet our friends at Mazda of Everett, located in Everett at 11409 Highway 99. If you're shopping for a new car, make sure our friends at Mazda of Everett are on your list.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Who's cutting down the nets this year? Get in on all the tournament action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest upsets to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Taking a look at your baseball scoreboard games going on right now. They're in the bottom of the fifth in Pittsburgh with the Pirates out in front of the Cardinals 4-1. It's the Nationals with a 3-2 lead on the Dodgers. The Dodgers are threatening. Shohei Ohtani with a home run in this game. It's top of the fifth out there in Washington. Meanwhile, Blue Jays up 2-1 on the Red Sox in the top of the fifth, bottom of the third. Scoreless in New York between the Mets and the Marlins. Top of the second in Kansas City. The Royals up 1-0 on the Twins. Rangers and Cubs are scoreless in the top of the second. Still to come, Orioles and Diamondbacks, Reds, Giants, Padres, A's. One final. Tigers beat the Yankees 6-2. And, of course, you've got Game 1 of the series against the Houston Astros happening tonight at T-Mobile Park. The Mariners send Logan Gilbert out to the hill in Game 1. You can catch all of the action beginning at 5:30 right here with the pregame show, 6:40 first pitch.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Mariners and Astros will get to business tonight in Game 1 of their 3-game series. We get a chance to speak to a man who does a great job covering the Mariners for the Seattle Times. He's with us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook hotline, and I'm going to guess he's probably just a little bit cheerier than Ryan Divish. Talking about Adam Jude is with us. How are you, man?
How are you, fellas? Thanks for having me. That's a very, very low bar to set. But, I appreciate it.
There's lots of people that are happier than Divish.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, this certainly tests the optimism, does it not, of a Mariner fan and looking at where this team is after 10 games. They're 3-7. They just got swept. Victor Robles hurts himself. He's on the IL. It's a tough stretch right now, and as I'm sure you're on social media, so you see it. There's a lot of the fan base that's like, I'm done. They're terrible. I told you so. They're no good. It's 10 games. I understand nobody wants to hear that it's early, but it's early, right, Adam?
It is early, and I hate to be the one to say that as well, but it's early. It's early. It's early. At the same time, you step back and look at the big picture a little bit and where the Mariners are. You know, I think the goal was to just navigate April here without George Kirby, without one of your horses in the rotation, and just try to get to May sort of hovering around 500. You know, don't fall too far out of the race. Don't dig yourself too big of a hole. And when George Kirby comes back, it sounds like sometime in early May, you know, then you're ready to take off. You're more at full strength, and you feel like, okay, now we got the horses to go out and make a race of this. Now you lose Victor Robles, one of your horses in the outfield, really the catalyst at the top of your lineup. where does that leave you? I think that's a real question here for the Mariners right now. I don't have a specific update on Robles on a timeline or what the exact injury is beyond just a dislocated shoulder. In fact, I think we're at 5 o'clock here. I think Robles is probably just getting out of his MRI right now. So the team doesn't even know yet the full extent of his injury. They won't tell until they look at that imaging tonight, tomorrow morning. I don't think we'll have anything publicly probably till tomorrow. But obviously it's a huge question mark because, we saw what he meant and what he did for this lineup in the second half last year when he was fully healthy and kind of fully engaged. And he's just like such a fun personality. He's so loud. The guys really gravitate to him. And then he was really good in the second half last year as well. Didn't get off to the best start here the first 9-10 games, but we saw him get on base in that ninth inning yesterday and then come around to score on Randy Arozarena's, 2-out, 2-strike double. Like, he's that guy that kind of sets the tone in so many ways. So it's just a huge missing piece, and it's a huge question mark how they're going to be able to move forward, even if it's a short-term thing like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, 8-game hitting streak, and 4 of those games are multi-hit games. He's pretty much you ever seen anybody go so fearlessly after a foul ball? I mean,
no. At the same time, you're like, what are you doing in the afternoon? It's easy to say that now because he's injured, and you love that. You love it in the moment. And honestly, one of the best catches I've ever witnessed in person. Certainly the most fearless. But I'm sure if you asked him right now if he'd do it again, hopefully he'd say no because he's looking at, again, we don't know what he's looking at, but it's hard not to think about the worst case scenario with something like that. At the same time, again, not to speculate too much, but if it is just a dislocation, if the imaging doesn't show anything beyond that, maybe it's only a 2 or 3, 4 week thing, and the Mariners can maybe manage to get by with that. But again, you also worry about something, being torn in there or something worse to where, the Mariners are left really scrambling here to fill that leadoff spot.
I don't know. They wanted to put a cape on Derek Jeter when he went face first into the stands after a foul ball and came up with his nose cut. He was bleeding, and he was a martyr after he was a superhero. Yeah. So I can't blame him for his instincts in that situation. It's a tie game in the bottom of the ninth. I don't blame him at all. It sucks that it went that way. And look, moving forward, Adam, what do you make of what we saw offensively in that series? Because we saw him put up some runs in that first game. They get shut out in the other one. But we saw Julio with 4 hits in the series. 2 of them were home runs. Saw Cal hit a home run. And just some of the guys we're counting on to be producers started to show some life there. You brought up Arozarena with that double yesterday. So does it give you some level of optimism despite the sweep?
Yeah, I think if you're an optimistic sort, I think there's a lot of ammunition there to kind of point at, like you said, and go, okay, there's something here. These guys can be a good offense, maybe not a great offense, but they've got the pieces here to be productive and really be the complementary piece to this pitching staff that they need. Again, they don't need to be the best offense in baseball for this to be a good, competitive, even playoff team. I think we've seen that the past few years. That said, there are still some of the same glaring issues that they've had the last couple of years, and if you're inclined to believe they haven't addressed them and they're still going to be their downfall, there's plenty of ammunition to support that as well. The strikeouts are still there. And guess what? They're going to be there all year. That's just kind of how they're built. They can't strike out 27, 28% of the time, but you can get away with this lineup striking out, 24% of the time, a little above league average, as long as they're hitting some home runs too. And so Julio is key in that. I think a great sign for him is he's been taking his walks more than ever so far. I think he's up to like 13% walk rate. It's not flashy. It's not sexy, but it's him, recognizing those sliders 3, 4, 6 inches off the plate and taking them for ball 4, get on base. And we know how good he can be once he is on base. And so I think that's a great sign. Cal's off to a solid start. You mentioned Arozarena. Luke Raley is a wild card for this team. And he's going to play a lot more now in right field, of course. And frankly, I think we can all agree that's his better position to be in the outfield rather than first base. So I guess we'll see more Rowdy Tellez going forward. Maybe Donnie Barrels, Solano there at first base a little bit too. Third base is still a huge question mark. I mean, how much time do you have? We could go down the list here. I find myself, question mark at second base, question mark at third base still. And again, It is early. It is early. You want to give someone like Ryan Bliss, who's still a rookie, you want to give him time to grow into that role, to kind of just get comfortable. It feels like he's been, jumpy at times at the plate. He's really trying to get that fastball, really trying to do some damage, trying to prove he belongs here. And he is good enough, but he's got to settle in. He's got to settle down. I think Demo is your best option at third base right now. Jorge Polanco is working through both that lingering knee issue and now a new side issue that crept up in the swing the other day on Friday. So they're really trying to baby him and be conservative there. But he's so good. His bat has been so hot. You need him in the lineup, and he's back today as the DH in number 2. And if I'm the one filling out the lineup, I just put Jorge Polanco as the DH every day going forward until he can prove to you that he's decent enough and healthy enough to play in the field. But I guess that's a quick rundown of everything. But again, a lot of question marks just still about consistency of this offense, and it's going to be a question until they prove it isn't.
All right, Adam. I mean, that's it. That's everything. Goodbye. Thank you. No. You mentioned why not just go and you answer the question about having Demo play third base, but yeah, it just seems like. This is maybe naive of me, but it seems like a no-brainer that Jorge Polanco is going to be your DH because, it's, like I was saying earlier that like in a football game, you get sore when you have to play, in a game, and that's the only way to get in game shape. Like in a game, your eyes take you and so that creates soreness and that sometimes injury and things like that. But when you're just, you're swinging a bat, I don't know. I feel like there's less opportunity, in other words, for him to get injured if he's just the everyday DH.
Yeah, I'm with you. And we've seen how productive he can be here these first, week and a half when he is feeling a little bit better. Obviously, had that pretty major knee surgery on October 10th, I believe, last fall. And here we are 6 months later. That's less of the injury, it sounds like right now, than sort of his side. But he's a switch hitter. He's got a proven track record, and you want his bat in the lineup as often as possible. Again, the Mariners have sort of baked in a schedule to give him some regular off days, but in a couple, they're certainly not must-win games in early April, but you would have liked to have seen him in the lineup yesterday. It could have made a big difference in a one-run game. You never know, but not a guy you ideally have out of the lineup 2 days in a row.
Adam, what did you make of Julio's comments after the game? I know you tweeted those out, and I read them, and initially I'm like, all right, is this guy being a leader? And he's like, hey, it's 10 games, the sky's not falling, or is he delusional? Which was your takeaway? I
mean, again, it depends how long of a lifespan you've had as a Mariner fan. I feel like, if this is almost going on 50 years, if you've been around for all of it, you've probably heard all this before, and maybe your reaction is to roll your eyes a little bit. If you're more of an optimist, you absolutely agree with Julio that it's so early. They just played the team with the best record in baseball, right? And they were in every single game. Saturday wasn't quite as competitive, but the Giants had to walk off the first night on Friday, and there's a walk-off yesterday. So as Julio said, maybe if we're playing in Seattle, it's a different story. They feel like they're right there. I think you like that at the end of the day from your leader. He's not panicking, so why would anybody else panic here? He hit a couple home runs this weekend. Again, they've been, let's say, at least competitive without their pitching staff kind of fully intact, with some question marks about their bullpen. The bullpen's been overworked here over the last week or so. So things have obviously not gone their way, but if you squint and if you're an optimist, I don't think it's too much of a stretch to think that Julio's onto something here.
Yeah, I was with him up until he said, "I like where we are after 10 games." Then I was like, "No, you don't. You're 3-7.
Yeah.
How do you like where you are? Come on."
Right. Record aside, I mean, what do you want your leader to say? We suck right now. I mean, again, he's being obviously a little diplomatic, but you also really want your star player to believe that as well.
Hey, you mentioned the strikeouts. At least they're slowing down. That's the one thing that over the weekend made the sweep almost not hurt. But I wonder, do you think this is something they can sustain? Because, we talked about if they can just be middle of the pack, as far as offense goes, when the pitching, is all intact and, you get later into the season. It just seems like the strikeouts is something that's so noticeable, and it's just futility, night after night. And now you're seeing that they're number 16, actually. Do you think that's here to stay by any chance?
I think they'll probably end up in the bottom 10 in strikeouts still. I'd be surprised if they weren't. But again, that is manageable. That's an improvement certainly over the last few years. To me, the telling thing right now is what they're doing as runners in scoring position. You almost feel like just the law of averages, it has to swing back in their favor at some point. I think they're right near the bottom, if not at the bottom, and hitting with runners in scoring position like at 125 or 130. It's such a low number right now that it just has to get better. But obviously it starts with the strikeouts. If you've got a guy at second with no outs, you got to put the ball in play and get him to third base no matter what it takes, right? And if you're striking out regularly, you're just really limiting your opportunities there to manufacture some runs. So the trade-off has always been, certainly in modern baseball, the 3 true outcomes, right? If you're going to strike out a lot, at least balance that out with walks and some pop, right? You got to hit your home runs. I think this lineup is more dynamic, more athletic, to be able to do some different things. We've seen that. That's the one constant thing we've heard. One of the constant things we've heard from Dan Wilson is that he wants them to get after it on the bases. They've got the dudes to do that. We'll see with Robles how long he's out, but we saw J.P. Crawford even swipe a bag the other day. Ryan Bliss is certainly capable of that. And then Julio and Rosarena. Cal even swiped third base the other day. Those are sorts of things Dan Wilson recognizes, we can't just sit back and wait for the 3-run home run every night, right? We can't strike out 12 times and hope a 3-run home run saves us. They're going to have to move runners along and hit the ball up the middle and take their singles when they're available with 2 strikes. And I think we're seeing some small signs of that, but it's not like there's going to be a sea change overnight either.
Adam, quickly before we let you go, do you have any sense of how they're going to handle Kirby's spot in the rotation moving forward? We saw, obviously, Emerson Hancock got shelled, then he gets sent down. We saw Luis Castillo, the other one, come in, not that much better. So what do you think they do until Kirby gets back?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't know for sure. We know Luis Castillo, the Pebble, is scheduled to go Wednesday for the series finale here against the Astros. But I would think, again, more long-term over the next, 3-4 weeks, that you'd have to reconsider Emerson Hancock. He did fine last year in this number 5 role. He had a solid spring. He had one bad inning where he had a couple blue pits that fell in. And if you're asking my opinion, it felt like the Mariners maybe made a panic move in sitting him down and trying to get a fresh arm up for the bullpen last week. You got to get Emerson Hancock back. He can give you 5 innings. 3 runs. That's all you need out of that number 5 spot until George Kirby comes back. I think Emerson Hancock is going to be motivated and raring to go when he gets that opportunity again, probably as early as next week.
Good stuff, man. The Pebble. I hadn't heard that. That's awesome.
Good. There you go.
The Rock and the Pebble. I love it.
Exactly.
Adam, we appreciate you, my friend. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Thanks for having me, guys. Take care.
There you go. There's Adam Jude of the Seattle Times, Mariners beat reporter, does a great job out there. I hadn't heard that. The Pebble.
I haven't either. It's good.
It's very funny. Mariners hosting the Astros tonight, and the T-Mobile Park roof will be closed. It's been pouring all day. That's the Mariners Roof Report, brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. It's time to figure out what we learned. Let's do it.
This is a house of learned doctors. What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
What did we learn today?
No one's a bigger idiot than me.
Stupidity is the easiest way out.
Well, I don't have a snappy tease to respond to, so what did we learn, Lefko?
We learned a lot from Rowland-Smith today, including the fact that he might stop making predictions on our show.
Emerson Hancock was taking the hill, and you asked me to give my prediction on Emerson Hancock.
We weren't going to bring that up, Ryan.
Well, I don't know who's doing the social media, but I might have to come looking for him because that crushed me. I'm second, third inning in. I'm like, oh man, I love Emerson Hancock. And by the way, I'm sticking to what I said. And if you missed it last week, if you're driving along listening, because I don't assume everyone listens to everything I say. I said Emerson Hancock was going to be the dude this year and then he gives up a 6 spot out of there in the first inning. I still think he's going to be good. I just want to say that, and he's going to be all right. He just had a rough one, but I was copping him, man, on that broadcast. Let me tell you.
Yeah, you were catching some heat on social media there.
I was.
They were letting you hear about it. Hear about it. You should have just responded, just going,
"Hey, how's the bracket looking?"
Yeah, exactly. I should have, just in quotations or quick little videos.
They played that for me, and I could not get it.
So funny. You know how they make little videos of portions of the show. Our social media team here at the building, and they made a cut of us talking to Ryan and him talking about, oh, he's going to be the guy, and I believe in Emerson Hancock. He goes out there and gets lit up, and then social media just started ripping on Ryan. Oh, great call. Yeah, you know baseball. Just one after another, just tearing into him.
I like that all of a sudden, because the kid has a bad outing, he doesn't know baseball anymore.
That's right. Yeah. Anybody else knew that was going to happen, Dave.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I love the bracket thing. That's hilarious. That's hard for Australians to do
an American accent.
Yeah.
It's not hard for him.
Yeah.
He's got to nail it. What else did we learn?
Well, speaking of the smartest people around, we learned that for insight on the Seahawks offensive line, you need to turn to the text line.
They've got a certain belief in the guys that everybody else looked at and said, they're not good enough. What they did was not good enough. Now, some of that is with a new scheme, new O-line coach. This is going to help them improve and, again, hopefully become at least an average O-line. Do you guys share that faith, or do you feel that they don't know how to evaluate O-line talent and you know better than they do? That was the other part of the question I left
I
off.
like that. That's very specific to our guests, and I guarantee you there's a good majority of them that think that they know better.
Our texters.
I spend most Fridays telling them how stupid they are and unemployed and things like that, and then you get a text like that, and you're like, oh man, they really are brilliant. like how I just kind of clump all of them together. The
texters. Yeah, I think there's a strong portion, a large portion of our texters that feel like they are better at evaluating O-line talent than the Seahawks are.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. What else did we learn?
Well, we learned that you better not cry if you get injured.
I tend to get angry and curse.
Yeah, that's what I do too. Like, I remember my kids when they were growing up when they got hurt, they would cry, and I'm like, why are you crying? Aren't you mad?
Say curse words. It's better. Curse. You'll feel much better.
And now they do it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, hopefully that is the case.
Ryan Divish subscribes to the cursing mentality when hurt. So even though he's off the beat for the time, he might have had a broken hand. Sounds like he didn't, but yeah, he used that.
Did he post that video somewhere?
He posted it
on Twitter.
Yeah.
He did. That was exactly what I expected out of Divish.
Yeah, took a line drive off his hand. He was sitting behind a net doing a little soft toss to some kid he's working with, and kid just squared it up and hit a line drive right back up the middle and hit him right in the hand.
First he says ouch, and then out comes the
bleep,
the bomb.
Bleep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's always what you do, right? When you get mad.
Oh yeah. Yeah, a lot of screaming curse words come out. Sava, bleepity, bleep, God, bleep, bleep. Yeah. It's expletive. The more it hurts, the louder and more vulgar it gets. What else did we learn?
Well, when Rowland-Smith was on with us, we learned that he's nervous about talking on the radio tonight, despite talking on the radio every week with us.
Are you nervous about your radio debut?
Of course, always nervous. Every time I come here, I'm always there. I don't want to screw up. Sit next to the great Rick Riz. I got Gary Hill Jr. No, I'm looking forward to it. It's always they make it very easy, so I'm looking forward to it. A lot of fun, and yeah.
Radio's where they put the ugly guys.
Correct.
You know? Yeah. So,
and I've been told multiple times, listen, like no one can see what you're saying. When I do the old, oh, you can see right here, boom, everyone's like, dude, I'm driving, listening. I have no idea what you're saying.
Look what he's doing right here with his hand. Look what he's doing.
What you see here is, oh wait,
we can't see any of it.
See anything?
Did we learn anything else?
Well, I like Dave saying we learned the ugly guys go on radio. So. Lumping yourself in there, Dave. It's okay.
Yeah, sure. I don't think I fit into Ryan Rowland-Smith's. He's the younger, more handsome version of
the
me.
younger, better-looking version of you.
That is it. That's everything we learned today.
That's everything we learned. All right. There you go. What do you think? So you think
I'm negative
tonight?
Yeah.
Your Doomsday Dave, or you had like
Doomsday Dave. There
four
you go.
new nicknames that came up on the text.
All right, keep 'em
Downer
rolling
Dave,
in, man.
Depressed Dave, Depression Dave,
Dark
Doom
Dave.
Dark Dave. Very funny. All
It's
right.
going to work.
We'll see. All right. Our thanks to Ryan Rowland-Smith, John Jansen, and Adam Jude for joining us on the program. If you missed any of it, you can find it on the podcast page at seattlesports.com. You got the Mariners. You got the Astros. Game 1 coming your way tonight. We'll talk to you tomorrow right here with Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
Which Seahawks offensive lineman will have the biggest jump in 2025?
I think it's going to be Chris Haynes. The more I watch this film, the more I understand the offense, I think that this fits him. I think everyone's going to improve. I think my man's going to improve, Gerald's going to improve. But the way he plays the game now fits this type of offense. If Kubiak were here last year, Chris Haynes would have gotten more opportunity.
For Down Territory, every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here with my buddy Dave Taylor from First Mark Insurance. So glad, so thankful that Molly and I made the call. Had heard so many First Mark Challenge victories, we needed to take that challenge. What does happen from your perspective when that caller, when that email, when that person reaches out to you for a First Mark Challenge victory?
That's a great question. So there's several steps we go through in the process. The first step is we're going to gather information, find out all we can about that client and what their needs are. The next step is we will go out to the market. We have dozens and dozens of carriers that will compete for the business. At the end of that process, we will then bring those findings back to the customer, show them what we found, and who the eventual winner was in that competition.
And it may be who they're with.
It might be, yes. And sometimes that's the best we can do is recommend they stay where they are, but maybe modify a few coverages to put them in a better position.
So go take that challenge today. Go be the next First Mark Challenge victory. It costs you nothing, and they will be there with you every step of the way. FirstMarkInsurance.com. FirstMarkInsurance.com.
If you've been in a wreck or a fender bender,
you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility, not just where your insurance company tells you to go. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. With over 25 years of auto repair work, they'll exceed your expectations.
we meet by accident, fixing every last dent. Accurate Auto Body.
At Accurate Auto Body, all their work is performed by certified technicians, only using OEM parts to guarantee the safety of you and your family. For the best in auto body collision repair and customer service, give them a call at 425-883-2450 or AccurateAutoBodyWA.com. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last dent. Accurate Auto Body.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag with a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, Junior Hot and Crispy Fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Unlimited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California and via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Meanwhile, at Xfinity.
So, influencer life going well?
Oh, yeah. I'm up to 32 followers.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah, posting my tap dancing videos is easier than ever because we engineered Xfinity Internet with 99.99% network reliability.
Plus, Xfinity Mobile with Wi-Fi Power Boost gives you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. But wait, tap dancing? You don't tap dance.
Hey, what I lack in skill, I make up with passion.
Do more of what you love and love how fast you do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for 1 year and save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet plus one unlimited welcome line and AT&T Internet 300 plus one unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Actual speeds vary. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
Are you looking at diversification and stability with your investment portfolio, especially with the volatility right now in the stock market? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years. We've had 0 investor losses and have averaged double-digit returns since inception. Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given market conditions. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Legacy's Northwest Fund also accepts IRA accounts as well. Find out why over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Get in touch with us today. Legacy's Northwest Fund returning 9% has limited opening for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit legacyg.com. That's legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle.